see if I can find that topless. No. Stacy, every time we go to stop video, sometimes we get our picture, sometimes we don't. How do we change that?
So that you want your picture or you don't want?
Yeah, we don't, when we stop video, sometimes the picture comes up, sometimes it's just the name.
If you have your picture in as your profile, like on your
Yeah, we do.
Zoom, it should always come up.
It takes, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Maybe there's a delay.
No, I don't know. The default is just the name. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't. It's in the profile.
I don't know. We can do it offline. We can figure it
Yeah,
out.
I'll ask you. I'll have to ask you.
Yeah.
Val, you're muted.
That would explain why I didn't get an answer. Shabbat shalom.
Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Morning, Val.
Morning, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Good morning, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Very upset. What's that? It's risky, Bubby. It's risky. Because I actually have
Oh, your little babies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's sweet.
What about just?
Yeah.
What about just?
That's your favorite sound, Val.
Yep. I'm
Absolutely.
on the chandelier. That is my favorite sound.
I know.
So far, it's just my nieces that I hear from and nephews.
You missed them. Did you see them in Florida?
Yeah. And we're going next week. And
Oh, that's cool.
we're going to go for 5 days, and then that'll be it for the sun, you know. Yeah, so we saw them a couple times.
I'll see you right up. Because I actually have it.
And when did you go? I thought I'd go tomorrow and see the kids, but
No.
I
Busy?
have a funeral.
Oh, God.
That's not nice.
Yeah, that's not a fun afternoon.
No, one of my high school friends. So that's even
Oh, I'm
worse.
sorry. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's upset. Very
Sorry for
upset.
that. Yeah.
Patty, behind you, you've got a wedding embroidery to your right.
It's
Did
my
you do
needle
that one?
point.
Needle
Did you
point,
do that
yeah.
one?
That was my
I have
first
the
big
same
needle.
one.
Yeah,
There's a series of 3.
that was the first one I ever did.
Do you have the other 2?
No, that was the first one I ever did.
I used to needle point too. Did you go to Stephanie's all the time? That's
I
what-
did not.
all the time.
You know what? There was nothing up on this wall, and when we started Zooming, this is a spare bedroom that we made into our Zoom room. And there
Okay.
was nothing on the wall, and I said, we have all of these needle points framed sitting in the garage. So
Well, I have 3 of those weddings that my mom did when each of us got married.
that's, I had these framed and they were sitting in the garage. They were needle points I had done. We never did anything with them.
See,
So
I
I
took
said-
some from my mom's that I did, and they're back at my house.
I did actually the flapper I had done for my mother that was in her apartment. But I had nothing on the wall and it looked funny because we were Zooming all the time. So we stuck them up.
It looks good. Looks good.
Somebody said, you have this blank wall behind you.
Oh, that was nice of them. What are they, interior decorators?
Yeah.
Like it's their business.
Yeah,
Right.
right?
Oh, I said, yeah, I did the needle points. I had to do something with them.
Yeah, that's what we just bought one home from my mom's. Because it takes a lot of time, you know.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's not cheap to make with all the threading and then to have them framed.
And then,
Yeah.
And then they
Nice.
sat in the garage.
Shabbat Shalom, Pam. Shabbat Shalom, Joe and Val. And everybody else. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
It's like
Shalom.
you're,
Shabbat shalom. How are
it's
you?
like you're sitting behind me. layman's, you're sitting right behind us.
All right, well, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while.
I'm used to you sitting behind me and picking up my jacket when it fell.
There we go. Can
Oh,
you
yeah.
hear me?
Uh-huh, okay.
Hi, Greta.
Oh, we get to see the Wrigley kids.
Yeah, haven't seen them in a long
Hi,
time.
guys.
Yeah.
Hi.
Wrigley's. Hi, Beth.
No, yeah, you sit there.
Good job, Scanner.
See everyone?
Rabbi.
Good Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Good to see
Shalom.
everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Okay, let me, can I turn your TV down a little bit? Let me turn your TV down.
Can people hear me? Can people hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last time here, no one was hearing me for a little. Okay. All right. Baruch Hashem Yom Yom.
Rabbi Merow is muted.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just let people know that we're going to be starting in just a moment or two. And during a lot of this morning service, you are going to be muted. Not because we don't want you participating and singing and being completely a part of this service this morning, but because we don't want to have background noise if at all possible. And because we want to be able to hear, there are going to be many, many, many people participating in the service this morning, and we want to make sure that we can hear everyone. So please know that even though you will be muted, that we very much hope and expect that you will be fully participating in the service this morning. Can people hear me now? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I was just wanting people to know that we are muting you, not because we don't want you to be singing and participating, but we are muting you because we want to avoid having background noise, and we want you to be able to hear the many, many participants who will be part of the service for this morning. So I want to begin first by welcoming all of you to this very special Shabbat in the life of our Beth Shalom community. I want to welcome all of the members of Beth Shalom, former members of Temple Shalom, friends and colleagues of Rabbi Merow, who are joining this service as we pay tribute to her. And I want to begin by acknowledging the emotion that I know all of us at Beth Shalom are feeling, which is that there is a sense that this is a very, very bittersweet Shabbat. It's bittersweet because it is a Shabbat of goodbye. And it is bittersweet because it is a Shabbat of love and admiration and respect and appreciation for Rabbi Merow. I want to just let you know that the way this service is going to run is that we are going to do a full traditional Shabbat morning service that will have many guests who will be helping to lead part of the services. We'll have Rabbi Merow will be leading part of the service and will be teaching Torah as well. And we will have several people who will be paying tribute to Rabbi Merow, and we'll have words of appreciation for her. So I want to just acknowledge that that this is a bittersweet moment for our community, and what we are trying to do here as we prepare to pray on Shabbat is to get in touch with our gratitude to the Holy One of Blessing for the gift of our lives and the gift of Shabbat and the gift of community, and gratitude for our years of working with, of being led by and taught by our beloved Rabbi Merow. So we are going to begin this service with our youngest members of our community, and Stacy is going to share a beautiful recording of Hine Matov to begin the service from our preschoolers. So I have the honor of introducing all of the people who will be paying tribute to Rabbi Merow this morning. And the first person who is going to be speaking is a beloved member of our community and longtime teacher in our preschool, Beth Porter, who is going to share our first series of words of appreciation to Rabbi Merow. Beth?
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Shabbat Shalom. Dear Rabbi Merow and Beth Shalom community, it has been my honor and privilege to have Rabbi Merow as my rabbi and also as a treasured colleague. In my years as a preschool teacher at Beth Shalom's Early Learning Center, I had the pleasure of working alongside Rabbi Merow, who was an integral part of our school. Every Shabbat and holiday was joyfully enhanced by Rabbi's spirit and enthusiasm. She actively participated in our mitzvah programs like Israel Guide Dogs for the Blind and our cycling fundraisers for St. Jude and Bet Izzy Shapiro in Israel. For many years, Rabbi Merow and I happily collaborated in a children's program every Yom Kippur day. Her spontaneity perfectly complemented my plan every detail style. I remember fondly when Rabbi Merow would pop into our pre-K class unexpectedly. She'd grab one of those little chairs, cozy up with the kids, and join in for snack and conversation. I just loved watching her interactions with our young children. A number of years ago, my dearest friend suffered a devastating family tragedy. Her 19-year-old son was horrifically injured in a car accident, given a 3% chance of surviving the night. Miraculously, he did survive, though he sustained injuries that required a long road of recovery. Exactly 1 year later, tragedy hit again. My friend's young stepson was struck and killed while riding a motorcycle. Needless to say, the family was reeling from these catastrophes for a very long time, feeling completely despondent and hopeless. One day, my friend asked me what I thought they could do to give them back some control of their lives and optimism for a brighter future. I too was at a loss, but I was going to consult my spiritual advisor, Rabbi Merow. She immediately called a rabbinic colleague who began listing Jewish practices that we might say were out of the mainstream. Blow the shofar in every room, announcing evil spirits to vacate. We did that, laughing all the way. The recommendation that they really loved was to get married again, have a new wedding date, a new ketubah, and a fresh beginning. And who better to perform the ceremony than Rabbi Merow? The wedding, which took place in our living room, began the process of healing, renewal, and embracing life again. Stan and I, along with our closest friends, will forever be grateful to Rabbi Merow for making this happen. Rabbi, thank you for your wisdom, your counsel, teaching, friendship, and loving kindness. You embody a Jewish neshama. You will always have a special place in my heart. I love you.
Thank you, Beth. What beautiful, beautiful words. We are going to, before we actually begin Pesukei de Zimra, I'm going to invite us to do a brief guided meditation. For those of you who have not done guided meditations before, this is a chance for us to prepare ourselves to pray by listening to some of the words that I'm going to speak to you. The theme of this guided meditation is the theme of gratitude. And I want us to be able, as a community, to feel that sense of gratitude as we begin our prayer. So if you're comfortable, let yourself sit quietly and at ease wherever you are. Allow your body to feel relaxed and open. Let your breathing feel natural. Let your heart feel easy. And if you're comfortable, you may close your eyes. Begin this practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year we have been cared for by so many throughout our lives. Let us begin to acknowledge all who have supported us in this care. With gratitude, we remember the people, the animals, the plants, the creatures of the sky and sea, the air and the water, the fire and earth, all whose joyful exertion blesses our lives every day. With gratitude, we remember the care and labor of the generations of elders and ancestors who have come before us. We offer our gratitude for the safety and well-being we have been given. We offer our gratitude for the blessing this earth has given us. We offer our gratitude for the measure of health we have been given. We offer our gratitude for the family and friends we have been given. We offer our gratitude for the community of which we are a part. And we offer our gratitude for the many blessings that Rabbi Merow has given to us and to our Beth Shalom community over these past 17 years. Out of an awareness of our own blessings, we come to understand that we can offer blessings to others. So let each one of us offer our blessings in the quiet of our hearts to Rabbi Merow at this time. We say to her, may you be joyful and may your happiness only grow. May you be blessed with good health and may you continue to grow in the strength of your service to the Jewish people. May you know contentment, peace, and the continuation of loving relationships. Let us hold these blessings in our hearts for Rabbi Merow. As we open our eyes and begin this Pesukei de Zimra service, let us offer praise and gratitude to the Holy One of Blessing. We invite you to begin with me as we turn now to our Sidurim and begin our Pesukei de Zimra with on page 61 of this prayer book, Ma Tovu, how good it is to be together, how good it is to share in community. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenatecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenatecha Yisrael. We offer thanks to God for the gift of community. And if you turn with me to page 63, the second paragraph, we offer thanks to God for the gift of the souls that we have been given. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehora tehorahi. We want to invite you to turn ahead with me to page 65 as we continue with the morning blessings, the Birkat HaShachar. We're going to invite those who are able to stand to do so. Going to invite you to, we're going to begin the first bracha of Birkat HaShachar aloud, and then take some time for quiet as you do your own brachot, your own blessings, and hopefully you will find the blessing that you need for this Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech bivina, lahavchin ben yom uven lahaila. Baruch atah Baruch atah Melech Shasar Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Otei Yisrael b'tifaraha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Anoten le'ayef koach. We'll invite you to be seated. We turn now to page 66 of your prayer book. I want to invite you to look at the last paragraph before the Shema, where the box begins. This is a melody that Rabbi Merow loves to sing. It says, Ashrenu matov chelkenu. And if you look at the translation, it says, how good is our portion? But Ashrenu comes from the Hebrew root of osher, which is the word which means riches or richness. And so I think we could be singing Ashrenu matov chelkenu, how enriched our portion has been through Rabbi Merow's gifts to our community. Ashrenu matov chelkenu, Ashrenu matov chelkenu, Ashrenu, Ashrenu matov chelkenu, chelkenu, Ashrenu matov chelkenu, Ashrenu, Ashrenu matov chelkenu, Ashrenu matov chelkenu, umanayim goreinu ma'yafayru shatenu, Ashrenu shnachtam mashkimim marivim erev v'boker, v'omrim pamayim bechol yom, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Es con cámara.
Adonai.
No estoy con la cámara.
We're going to turn ahead now to page 72 of your prayer book, the Psalm for Shabbat, a melody by our colleague Rabbi Shefa Gold that Rabbi Merow and I both love to sing, which can be found 5 or 6 lines, it's hard depending on how you count, from the Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. The words Ma Gadlu Ma'asecha Adonai, Modam Ku Machshavotecha, the theme of gratitude that we are expressing in Pesukei Zimra, the greatness of what God has given us. Ma Gadlu, how great, how beyond imagination are your works, Adonai. The depth of what has made this possible is beyond our comprehension. Ma Gadlu Ma'asechaya Me'odam ku machshavotecha Ma Gadlu Ma'asechaya Me'odam ku machshavotecha. Odinavun besevad shanim ranin yehihu lagi ki asharonai tsuri v'lo avlatavo. We're going to invite you to turn ahead with us now to page 81. Even as we express gratitude, we know that there are times in which we have known pain and suffering and sadness, and that those are the times in which we've called out to God to hear our prayers. And when we have offered those prayers with a full heart, we know that that fullness has allowed us to endure, God willing, and to be able to find joy in the midst of our sorrow. So whether or not we have sorrow or we have a sense of blessing, we call out to God. We say, Shema Adonai v'chaneni. Hear our prayer, God, and be gracious to us. Adonai heya ozer li. We ask that you should be, God, a source of our strength in times of joy and in times of sadness. 5 lines from the bottom of the page 81. Shema Adonai v'chaneni Adonai heya ozer li. Shema Adonai v'chaneni Adonai heya ozer li. Shema Adonai v'chaneni Adonai heya ozer li. Hafachta mispirina macholi pitachta sakevet hasreini simcha. The man yismercha chavod v'lo yidam Adonai Elohai le'olam odeka. We invite those in the process of mourning, observing a yard site, to please rise to join with me in the mourner's Kaddish, which is found on page 82. Yit gadal, yit kadash, shemei Rabba. Yalma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon v'yomechon. V'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevorach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. If you're able to rise, please do so as we turn ahead now to page 83 and give thanks to God for the gift who creates worlds with words, as do we. Baruch shehamar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch hoseh v'reshit, Baruch omer v'hoseh, Baruch ozer u'makayim, Baruch merachem al haaretz, Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch mishalem sachar tov l'reha, Baruch chai la'ad, v'kayam ha'netzach, Baruch bodehu matzil, Baruch shemo. Yahachid Ha'lamim Melch Meshuvach Umfradet Shmo Hagadol, Baruch Atah Adonai Melech Mehulal Vatishbachot. We invite you to be seated as we turn ahead now to page 92, the great Hallel, a melody that we have been singing for many years with refrain, Ki Le'olam Chasto, God's chesed, God's loving kindness is everlasting. As we sing these words of Psalm 92 with the refrain, Ki Le'olam Chasto, I want to invite you all to just spend a moment reflecting on just one chesed you've received from Rabbi Merow. It's impossible for probably most of you to even distill of the many acts of chesed that you've received, just one. But I want you to try to hold one chesed you've received from Rabbi Merow over these years as we sing these words, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Page 92. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Hodu le'Elohei ha'Elohim, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Hodu l'Adonai ha'Adonim, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Yoseh niflaot gedolot levado, Ki Le'olam Chasto. We've received so many acts of chesed from Rabbi Merow, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Would be impossible to name them, so we cannot try. Ki Le'olam Chasto. Whether or not she's been there with us to share a time of joy, Ki Le'olam Chasto, or whether it's been when we've had some pain, Ki Le'olam Chasto. When she's been with us, we know she loves to sing, Ki Le'olam Chasto. She's been a teacher to all of us who are here, Ki Le'olam Chasto. As she begins this journey to her new destination, we wish Ki Le'olam Chasto. And so many acts of chesed that she has brought to us, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Ay, don't worry about the words, just sing with me, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Just let your heart fill with those acts of loving kindness she's given us, Ki Le'olam Chasto. Yanai, nai, 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 Ki Le'olam Chasto. Yanai, nai, 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 nai. So many acts of chesed, Ki Le'olam So among the many acts of chesed that Rabbi Merow has given us, is that she's given us the gift of song, and for many years she has brought many of our teens into leading song and leading prayer on many occasions, on high holidays and during Shabbat for our family music services. So we have two of our teens who have been part of the music that Rabbi Merow has helped create, Jake Sasson and Asher Sasson, who are going to lead us in Psalm 150 in Rabbi Merow's honor. It's on page 100 of your Siddur, page 100, the middle of the page.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, El Bekadsho, hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, hallelujah, Guratav. Hallelujah, Kerov Gudlo, hallelujah, B'tika Shofar, hallelujah, B'nevel V'chinor. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, Tokumacho, hallelujah, Mirugav, hallelujah, Betzil Tzalei Shama. Hallelujah, Betzilei Trua, Kohan Shama Tehaleya, Kohan Shama Tehaleya, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Thank you, Jake and Asher, those beautiful words of Psalm 150. I'm going to invite us to turn ahead to page 102 as we get close to ending this first part of the service. Join with me in these words that epitomize so much of Rabbi Merow. Ozi v'zimrat yah v'yehili lishua. With my strength, I will sing a song to you, O God, and that will be our salvation. Words that characterize how Rabbi Merow lives in the world. Second paragraph, third line from the top of the second paragraph, page 102. Ozi v'zimrat yah v'yehili lishua. 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 We'll turn to page 104 as we sing the words Nishmat Kol Chai, the breath of all that lives praises you, O God. Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech et Shimcha Adonai Eloheinu Kol Basar. Ilufinu Malei Shira Kayam Ulashon Rinam. Mimitzrayim Gaptanu Adonai Eloheinu Mikavati. Al Kenavrin Shabbat Kapanu. Nehalel Chan Shebachachan Avarecha Nevarech et Shem Kadshecha Ka'amor. David barchi nafshi et Adonai v'chol kravai et shehem kodsho. Ha'el b'tatzumot uzecha. Hagadol b'chbot shemecha. Hagibor l'netzach v'nora v'nohorotecha. Hamelech hayoshev. Hakiseram v'nisan. Before I invite Rabbi Merow to lead us in the Shachrit service, it's my honor to ask one of Rabbi Merow's closest friends and rabbinic colleagues, Rabbi Steve Wernick, who is the senior rabbi of Beth Tzedek Congregation in Toronto, to share some words of blessing to his beloved colleague.
Rabbi Wernick, one of Rabbi Merow's best friends. It's a pleasure to be here with you, even virtually, in order to pay tribute to a wonderful rabbi, a fantastic human being, and as I said, one of my best friends. Rabbi Merow's favorite text, one of her favorite texts, because she really loves all texts, but one of her favorite texts comes from the Kabbalistic prayer that we recite on Shabbat morning at the Torah service, the Brich Shema de Mare Alma prayer, the private prayer we say before the Ark. In that we say, Ana Avda Dikudsha Brichu, that we profess that we are all servants of the Holy One, blessed be God. And I think there's no better text to really summarize and describe who our friend Andy Merow, Rabbi Merow, is. For Kabbalah, for the Kabbalists, God's presence is so vast it can't actually be seen or experienced except through the sfirot or except through the actions of other people. Rabbi Merow is a fantastic rabbi because she really is a servant of God. Everything that she does, from teaching to social action, to prayer leadership, to spirituality centers and well-being concern, to counseling, to programming, to ensuring food for those that are less fortunate. Everything she does is a service to God. And that service comes from the depths of her being, the very essence of who she is. That's why she is a successful rabbi. That's why her tenure at Bet Shalom has been filled with so many meaningful relationships and so many meaningful godly acts that have enriched your community and the greater Philadelphia area. And that's why we wish her so well on her next adventure in the Princeton Jewish Center, and why I look forward to maintaining our relationship that has now spanned almost 3 decades. Andy, we love you. We wish you Hatzlacha Rabbah. And to the community, we thank you for honoring her, and we wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.
I want to thank Rabbi Wernick for those beautiful, beautiful words of tribute to Rabbi Merow. And we are now going to turn the service over to our rabbi and teacher, Rabbi Merow, who is going to be leading us as we prepare for Shachrit, beginning on page 105 of our prayer book.
Please do daven along with me. Shochen ad marom, v'kadosh shemo, v'chatuv ranenu tzadikim b'Adonai, la'yesharim navatzim la, v'fi sharim titala, u'vdivrei tzadikim titbarach, u'v'ilshon chasidim titromam, V'kerev kedoshim titkadash, uv'machalot revivot amcha beit Yisrael berina, itpaher berina, itpaher shimcha malkeinu b'chol dor v'dor, shekein chova kol yitzurim lefanacha, Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu. Lehodot, lahalel, leshabeach, lefayer, leromem, lahader, levarech, laleo, kales, hakol divrei shirot, v'tishbechot, David ben Yishai, avdecha meshichecha. As we turn to page 106, we rise. Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu Chayel HaMelech HaGadol VaKadosh B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Ki Lechana Adonai Eloheinu V'Elehei Avotenu Shir Hushvacha Halel V'Zimra Uzemem Shalom Netzach Gdula Gurati Lav Tiver Kedusha U'Malchut V'Rachot V'Hodaot Me'atzav Yad Olam Baruch Atah Adonai El Melech Gadol V'Tishbachot El HaHodot Adonai Niflot Bocher B'Shirei Zimra Melech Chei HaOlamim Yitkadav Yitkadav Shmei Rabba V'yamad Yivrach Yirtei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayei Chon U'chayei B'chol Beit Yisrael V'galav Yisman Kariv Yimra Amen Amen Yahei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Omeyo Mayaha Yitbarach V'yishtabach Yitbar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh Yitzadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudsha Brichu Le'lamin Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nakamata Damiran B'alma Imra Amen Amen Barechu Et Adonai Hamvorach Baruch Adonai Morach Leolam Va'ed Baruch Adonai Morach Leolam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Oseh Shalom Shalom Borei Atah. You're welcome to be seated. We continue in the middle of 107. Hakol Yoducha V'Yakol Yishabchucha Yakol Yomru En Kadosh Kadonai Yakol Yomru Chasala Ein Kerchach Adonai Eloheinu B'Olam Hazeh V'Ein Zlatcha Malkeinu L'Chayei Olam Haba Efes Biltecha Golenu Limot HaMashiach V'Ein Domelech HaMoshienu L'Tchiat HaMeitim 108 El Adon HaKol HaMasim Baruch Borah B'Fikol Neshama God lo v'tuvo maleh olam da'at utfuna hasov v'imoto hamikal achayot hakodesh v'nedar v'chavod al merkava zchutu mishor lifnei chiso chesed v'rachamim lifnei kivodo tovim me'orot shebara Eloheinu yitzara mida'at Vivina Ufchaskel, Koach Ugura, Natan Bahem, Liot Moshlim Bekarev Tevel, Leim Ziv Mafikim Noga, Naez Yiva Bechol HaOlam, Smeichim Betzetam, Besasim Bevoam, Simbi Emad Etzon Konam, Pe'er Vechavod Notnim Lishmo, Sola Rina Lezeker Machuto Kara La Shemesh Vais Rakor Ra'av Hitzkin Surat Halvana Shavach Notim Lo Kol Tzva Marom Tiferet Gedula Serafim Ve'ochanim Ve'chayot HaKodesh Yai Lai 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 Lie, 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 lie. I can see you clapping or not. Lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, lie, ya lie, ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 ya lie, ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 ya lie, ya lie, lie, lie. Ya lie, lie. 109. La'ela shava mikol ha'masim bayom hashvit alev yasim. Mizmor shir shir liyom hashabat. Mizmor shir Shir liyom hashabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir. Shir liyom hashabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir. Shir liyom hashabbat. Lefichach yifa'elu v'yivarchu le'el kol yitzrav. Tiparach Moshe no shavach maseh Yameore or shatzita yifa'aru chasela. 110. Tiparach tzureinu malkeinu v'go aleinu. Borei kedoshim yishtabach shimcha. Tiparach tzureinu malkeinu v'go aleinu. Borei kedoshim yishtabach shimcha lad malkeinu yoter mishar. Kulam alvim, kulam davurim, kulam giborim, v'kulam osim ve'emal v'yiraretzon konam, v'kulam podim epiham, v'kedusha v'tohara, v'shira u'v'zimra mevarchim, u'meshavchim u'mefarim u'maritzim, u'makdishim u'mamlichim. Et Shem Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol HaGibor VaHanora HaKadoshu V'chulam Mekablim Alehem Ol Malchut Shamayim Zeh Yizeh V'nognim Reshut Zeh Lazeh Lakdish Liotram B'nachar Ruach V'safav Ra V'nima Kedosha V'lam Ke'acharonim V'omrim Be'yirah Kadosh 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 Adonai tzvod melech haaretz kevodo. Yofanim v'chayot hakodesh b'rahash gadol. Inasim limatrafim limatam mishabchim v'yomrim. Baruch kevod Adonai mimkom ha'el. Le'el baruch nimot yitzeinu l'melech el chai v'kayam. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, 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 V'niska kulanu mehera le'oro, V'niska kulanu mehera le'oro. We continue together on page 111 with the words Ahava Rabbah. Deep is your love for us, God. Deep is our love for each other. Deep is our love for this community. We gather our seat together. Ahava Rabbah Haftanu Adonai Eloheinu Hemla Gedol Avitera Chamata aleinu, Avinu malkeinu, Avur avoteinu, Shabbat kuvecha, Avinu malkeinu, Vatilamdeinu kechaim, Kein tichuneinu tlamdeinu, Vino hav harachaman, Hamrachem rachem aleinu, Ten belibeinu lehavin, havinu lehaskil lishmoa, lilmodu lelamed, lishmor velasod, ukayem ekol divrei, Talmud Torah techa behava, veha erinenu v'torah techa, v'da'abek libeinu v'mitzvotecha, Ve'yached le'evavenu li'ahava u'li'yara et shemecha Lilo nevosh le'olam va'ed Lilo nevosh le'olam va'ed Ki v'shem kadshacha hagadol v'hanora ba'atachnu Nagila v'nismecha Yeshuatecha Havienu l'shalom Me'arba kanfot ha'aretz V'tolichenu kamiyut קוממיות לארצנו, כי אל פועל ישועת אתה, ובנו אחרת מכל עמדי לשון, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, סלע באמת, להודות לך, ולידך באהבה, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל, באהבה.
Now, we don't usually interrupt going right into the Shema, but we have a very special reason for doing so, because as we all know, Rabbi Merow loves to daven, and she loves to daven with all ages, and she has davened for many, many years with our elementary school students, and two of her favorite teachers, Bonnie Gold and Michelle Ravitch, love to daven with our kids in our Etgar program. And so Bonnie and Michelle are going to lead us in words from the first paragraph of the Shema from the Via Hafta that they do with the kids, that both Rabbi Merow and I love being with them when they teach our kids. So we're turning it over to you two.
Thank you, Boker Tov. Before we start, I just wanted to personally say thank you to Rabbi Merow. She and Phil hired me about 15 years ago. I remember when I met you, Rabbi, you were dynamic, intelligent, and warm and welcoming. And you actually asked me on my interview, do you like to sing? And at that point, I thought, oh, right, we are ready. We are a good fit. So I thank you for seeing whatever you saw in me and allowing me to join the Beth Shalom community. We enjoy having you every time you join our K-2 group or our whole community for tefillot and singing and the lessons that you bring to us every time. And I personally will miss you very much. Michelle.
So Rabbi Merow also likes to come to Ramah Day Camp as well. And we get to see her on Shabbat, and she comes for our tefillah. And I know that she personally does love this way we do the Shema. We do it every Sunday morning with our students. They love it. We love it. I personally love you and love what you've done for our Beth Shalom community, especially for our school. Our Shabbat experiences could not have gone on without your great creative input. And we will miss you, and the kids will miss you. So we start out our service every Sunday morning when we do the Shema. In order to get into the mood, we make a shin with our fingers. If you want to join us, that would be great. This is my teaching part. We start with a shin because that's what the Shema begins with. And we do shh, ah. We do it one more time and we close our eyes and concentrate. Shh, ah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Now, when we do the Via Hafta, it's a little different than when you do Via Hafta, but our kids love this part of the Shema because we have all kinds of hand motions in order for us to make meaning to the prayer, which is really, really important to us. And Rabbi Merow also, when she comes, helps us to make meaning to the prayer. So we start like this. I'm going to do it twice so you can watch the first time and then please join along with us. It's really simple. So we start like this and we go, Veshi nantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'dibarta bam v'dibarta bam badam bam 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 bam. This is your part. Do it with us. Veshi nantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'dibarta bam v'dibarta bum ba-dum bum 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 bum. Now we sit on our hands. Shiftecha, ve'shiftecha, and we make a house. Ve'veitecha, uvelechtecha, v'derech, uveshachbecha, uvkumecha b'dibarta. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Your turn. Veshivtecha, b'veitecha, uvelechtecha, b'derech, uveshachbecha, uvkumecha b'dibarta. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. B'dibarta. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. B'dibarta. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. And these words, with these words, we wish you b'hatzlacha. We wish you like much happiness and joy in your new journey. We will miss you terribly.
Thank you, Bonnie and Michelle. And we turn back to Rabbi Merow to lead us now as we continue with Shema, page 112.
We said the words of Shema will start at the second paragraph together with our tzitzit. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shirantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech v'shochtecha v'kumecha v'kshartam liot al yadecha v'yu letotafot b'neinecha v'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha v'sha'arecha. We continue till the top of 113 privately. Vayam Shemot Shemot. Yimei hashamayim ala ahavet. Vayom Adonai el Moshe lemor dahaver. Obnei Yisrael v'yamar talehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit. Al kanfei v'gdehem lidorotam. V'natnu al tzitzit. Hakanaf til techelet. V'yalachem letzitzit. V'ritem oto. Uzkartem eko mitzvot Adonai. V'asitem otam. V'lo taturu. Acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem, asher atem zonim achareihem, lima'an yizkeru, v'asitem ekol mitzvotai, item kedoshim le'elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzetzi etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. Emet v'yatziv v'nachon v'kayam v'yashar v'ne'eman v'yahu v'chaviv v'nachmad v'na'im v'nora v'adir u'mitzukan mikubal v'tov v'yafa hadavar hasa aleinu le'olam va'ed emet Elohei olam malkeinu tzur Yaakov magen yishenu v'dor v'ador kayam u'shmo kayam v'chison achon u'makuto v'yemnato ad kayamet. V'drav chayim v'chayam. Soon. Emet shata Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu, malkeinu melech avoteinu, go'aleinu go'el avoteinu, yotzreinu tzur yeshuateinu, vodeinu matzilenu me'elam shemacha, in Elohim zulatacha. 114. Ezrat avotenu atahu me'olam. Ashreish sheyishma l'mitzvotecha. Ashreish sheyishma mitzvotecha v'toracha yasim al liban. Tilaleyam Barakulum Torah Moshe Ubnei Israel Chanu Shira B'Simcha Rabba Yamru Kulam Mi Chamocha Ba'elim HaDonai Mi Kamocha Netzar B'Kodesh Mi Chamocha Ba'elim HaDonai Mi Kamocha Netzar B'Kodesh Norategi Hilot Osa Otsafele Norategi Hilot Ose Osefele Shira Chadasha Shivku Gilim L'Shimcha Sfatayam Yachad Hoduvim Lichu V'Amru Adonai Himloch Leolam Va'ed Sor Yisrael Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael Ufteikenu Mecha Yehuda Ve'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'al Yisrael. We begin the Amidah, the private prayer publicly together on 115b, and then we'll continue privately. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasei Avot Mevi Goel Lifnei V'Neihem L'man Shmo B'Yava Melech Ozer Upoked Umoshia Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Abraham Upoked Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim Umatir Hasurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bavurot Umido Melech Memi Tomechaya Umatmiat Yeshua Namanat Alachayot Mitim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei Hametim.
Amen. Mekadesh Shingavam Kashem Shemak Kishimoto Bishme Marom Kakatuv Adniviacha Bakarazel Zevi Amar
Mekadesh et Shimcha Ba'olam Kishem Shemati Shimoto Bishme Marom Kakatuv Adniviacha Karazel Zevi Amar
Kadosh 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 Adonai Tzevahot Meloch Haaretz Kevodo
Az Bekorash Gadol Adir B'Chazak Mashmim Kol Minas'im L'Metzrafim Le'umatam Baruch Yom Merow
Baruch Kevar Adonai Mimekomo
Baruch Adonai Mimkom Mimkomcha Malkeinu Sophia V'timloch aleinu V'timloch aleinu Himechakim anachula Matai timloch Betzion Bekarot Beyameinu Bekarot Beyameinu Le'olam Tishkon Titadal V'titkadash B'toch Yerushalayim Yircha L'dor v'ador L'netzach netzachim. V'yeinenu tirana malchutecha. Hadavar ha'amur b'shirei uzecha. B'shirei uzecha. Al yedei tahavu shiachtzikecha.
Imlochern alelam Elohai Etzion Medor Vador. Hallelujah.
L'Adonai le'olam Elohai Yitzion L'dor vador hallelujah L'dor vador nagi godlacha L'netzach netzachim kedushacha nakdish Shivchacha Eloheinu mikin olam u'shelam va'ed Al melech gadol v'kadosh ata baruch ata Adonai Ha'el hakadosh. We continue privately 117 to 120 or whatever prayer is in your heart. Shalom Yimroma, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tzedek. 148. Chagal v'yitzkadash meraba.
Amen.
Yirtei v'yamlit malchutei b'chayekon u'v'yamekon u'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael Hagala v'zman karib yimru amen.
Amen.
V'hei shmera v'memora v'yalam le'al me'omaya Yitzbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach Yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh Yitadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal shmei dekudsha
Richu.
V'kulela min kol birchata v'zirata V'shbachata v'nachmata damiran v'yama v'yimru amen.
Amen.
Babal sultana bakon dechol Israel chodam avohondi v'shmaya v'yimru amen.
Amen.
V'hei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Israel v'yimru amen.
Amen.
Osa shalom v'imramav Uyasa shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'hi Merow. Amen. Please be seated.
I want to say Yishar Kochech to Rabbi Merow on leading us on a beautiful, beautiful Shachrit service. This morning we're going to now invite past president of Beth Shalom Congregation and very, very close friend of Rabbi Merow, Fred Wolfson, to share some words at this time in her honor.
Good morning. Close to 20 years ago, with my wife Marla, we went to a shul in the Northeast that was interested in merging with Beth Shalom. The Friday night service was well attended, and we met with a young rabbi that not only had the congregation, but us totally engaged in the service. That night, we met a congregation under her leadership that was welcoming. At that point, I was convinced for the marriage between our shuls would work. Fast forward a little, when I became president, my relationship with Rabbi Merow took on a totally different course. I realized not only was she a caring and giving person, but how uniquely knowledgeable she was. The programs that she initiated were cutting edge and have us, the congregants and the community as a whole, ready for the future needs. Through hard times and good times, Rabbi is always there with kind and spiritual words. Merow and I wish her only the best and are truly better people for having this relationship. Good luck, Rabbi Merow. You will be missed. Good Shabbat to all.
Thank you, Fred. And we are going to now invite people to turn back to their Sidurim as Rabbi Merow leads us in the opening of the Torah service, beginning on page 139 of our prayer book.
And I do hope that you'll daven, sing with joy along with me. En kamacha v'Elohim Adonai, ben kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut, kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai melech, Adonai yimloch, le'olam v'ad. Adonai oz li'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom al harachamim, heitiv al virtzoncha et Zion, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim.
Chomot Yerushalayim.
Levad batachnu melech ram v'nisa Adon olamim. Just one line from the top of page 40. Ana, 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 avedade kodesha berichu. Ana, 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 avedade kodesha berichu.
We want to, at this time, invite a beloved friend and colleague of Rabbi Merow, Rabbi Rachel Kobrin, who's now the senior rabbi of Congregation Road of Shalom in Denver, formerly our neighbor at Addis Jeshurun congregation, to share some words in Rabbi Merow's honor this morning.
Thank you so much for including me this morning. When I think of Rabbi Andy Merow, I think of the following words: compassionate, strong, funny, fierce, creative, joyful, loving, brave, devoted. I met Rabbi Merow when I moved to Elkins Park 7 years ago. She and Rabbi GK brought me a welcome gift, a honey plate for Rosh Hashanah and a bottle of wine. She immediately struck me as a force of nature, creative and driven, visionary. I learned quickly that she had no space for sloppiness or emotionless work. I also came to see that Rabbi Merow cares deeply for the future of the Jewish people and for every single one of her congregants. She will be ever present for her people, going to bat for them, whether that means finding significant funding for a kid who wants to go to Camp Ramah, arranging a last-minute Israel experience for a college student complete with home hospitality, taking a cancer survivor to the mikveh, singing and dancing at a simcha, helping a single mom get groceries from the food pantry while retaining her dignity, sitting at a deathbed, holding a hand, singing and reciting the vidui. She will be there for her people at any hour of the day. I saw this. And then I didn't just see it, I felt it. I became one of her people. Even as I led my community, my personal life was falling apart. I felt like I was breaking. And Rabbi Merow did what she always does. She jumped in. She called me and she said that she had made a deposit at Curds and Whey so that I could get some meals on days that felt particularly rough. So what's important for you to know here is that I was not yet Rabbi Merow's friend when she did this. I was the colleague at the competitive shul up the street. But she knew I needed people. I had to be strong for my own congregation, and so I needed other rabbis to hold me up. And she stepped forward. She listened, she comforted, she never, ever pried. She became a sounding board, a confidant, a soul sister. She walked me through a marriage falling apart and finding new love, and she stood by me in a way that only the best of people could. I would not be the person I am today if it were not for Rabbi Merow's uncompromising friendship. A great rabbi has the capacity to really see others for who they are, to hold them, to challenge them, to inspire them. A great rabbi sees Torah as a living document and finds innovative ways to make it meaningful. A great rabbi knows that Judaism calls us to heal the brokenness in our world, and a great rabbi works for that with courage and conviction. A great rabbi inspires people with joyful, participatory song and services, and a great rabbi shares her wisdom with piercing light and gentle vulnerability when working with B'nai Mitzvah students, when preaching from the Bima, and when teaching a class. A great rabbi sees what is missing. She sees the holes, and she envisions and actualizes ways of filling those empty spaces through creative, dynamic, new, and engaging programming. A great rabbi is brave. She says things that are not always popular. She stands up for important principles, and she models kindness. Rabbi Merow is a great, great rabbi. Beth Shalom has been so lucky to have her devotion for all of these years, and the Jewish Center could not be more fortunate. Andy, my beloved friend, may you continue to lead with strength and bravery, with wisdom and creativity. May you continue to sing from the bottom of your heart and to energize your community with your beautiful voice. And may you continue to love the people you serve, opening up your heart fully to embrace them, helping them to grow to be the best people they can be. May you find friendship, inspiration, joy, and love in your new home, and may it be filled with laughter and with light. I love you, and I know that your future is so, so bright.
Thank you for those extraordinary words, Rabbi Kobrin. Such beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you. We are now going to invite Rabbi Merow to be, again, our teacher this morning and to introduce our Torah reading this morning at this time.
Thank you. And really, we put Rabbi Kobrin right before me. Now I have to gather myself. Thank you to all of the speakers thus far. When we were at the Jewish Theological Seminary and you would pick your topic, your parsha for your senior sermon, there were several parshiot that you would do anything to not have. This was one of them. We even have a song, into really good nusach. How do you drash a parsha like Tazria? But actually, this has come to be one of my favorite of all the parshiot because it is real and it is concrete. So I want for us to just think for a moment about Tazria Metzora, about this parsha in terms of what its ancient meaning was and what it could be about for us today. Tazria and Metzora reminds us that though we want to live in the world of the spirit, we live in bodies. We live in bodies that sometimes work well, and when they work well, we celebrate that. When they work well, we are able to continue in this world. And when we're sick, we need ways of healing and ways of coming back into the community. The traditional reasons given for the pronouncement about what is called tameh and tahor. I don't want to use clean and unclean, but two different ways of being in the world might be that there are states and times in our lives where we encounter potential death. And then we are in a state of tum'ah. And then other times when we can switch back to a transition to a different state in the world, tameh, pure. God, we ask God to create a pure heart in me. Lev tahora barali Elohim. That's what we've asked for. Create pure hearts in each of us. But we know that our hearts aren't always going to be pure, neither are our bodies. And so we go back and forth. We transition from what feels like really a way of living in the world where we are pure of body and of mind, and a way of living in the world where we've encountered death or illness. Going to mikvah, going to a ritual bath, feeling primordial waters help us to feel a sense of renewal. But a more modern take on what is tum'ah and what is tameh in this world, what these two states could be, ways of living when there are elements in your life, in your community that feel toxic, that feel difficult. In the United States, we're going through a period of deep partisanship. And that for me feels like a collective tum'ah, a collective state where we'd like to get out of it. It hurts us, it kills us in some ways. So as we read today the words of Tazria Mitzorah, as we read the idea that there are different states of being in this world, that our bodies, wellness, illness, even how we react to those around us really creates a sense of who we are. Let's think about ways to recognize what is tum'ah in our life. What is toxic? What is about illness? What is about not being well? What is when we're encountering death? And so once we recognize that, we can transition, hopefully, to states of being tahor, of being pure, at least pure of heart. I hope that our these words about menstrual cycles, seminal emissions, and getting ill and leprosy really inspire us to think about what it can mean to spiritually live within our bodies and spiritually live in community. To always know that there's tum'ah in the world, that there's encounters with death and encounters with difficulty and toxicity, that it is our goal to look for and to build times and spaces of pureness. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Yishar Kochech. Thank you, Rabbi Merow. And now we're going to turn to the Torah reading. I want to first thank Mark Love, who helped coordinate all of our Torah readers. And we have 7 members of our community who wanted to honor Rabbi Merow by reading Torah in her honor on this day. For those of you who have a copy of the Eitz Chaim Chumash, we are going to begin the Torah reading on page 651 at the very bottom of that page. For those of you who have a different Chumash that you're going to be looking at, we're reading the beginning of chapter 13 of the book of Leviticus. Chapter 13, verse 1 of the book of Leviticus. Our first Torah reader who will say the blessing for reading Torah is going to be Mark Love, who will be reading the first Aliyah through verse 4. Mark?
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor Adam ki hiyev ve'or b'saro seito sapachato v'heret v'hayav or b'saro v'negat sarat v'huva el Aharon hakohen o el achad mibanav hakohanim V'ra'ah hakohen et hanega ve'or habasar v'seor ba'nega hafach lavan u'mar'eh hanega amok me'or b'saro negat sara'atu v'ra'ahu hakohen v'timei oto ואם בהרת לבנה היא באור בשרו, ועמוק אין מראה מן האור, ושערה לא הפך לבן, והזכיר הכהן את הנגע 7 ימים.
Yishar Kochech, Mark, for reading our first Aliyah. We want to now invite Marcel Groen, who is going to be reading the second Aliyah, beginning on verse 5, page 653 of the Eitz Chaim. Marcel.
V'rahu hakohen bayom hashvi v'hinei hanega omad benov lo paso hanega baor v'haskiro hakohen shivat yamim sheni v'ra'ah hakohen oso bayom hashvi sheni v'hinei keho hanega v'lo fesa hanega ba'or v'taharo hakohen mispachati v'chibes bagadav v'toher v'yim paso tifso hamispachat ba'or acharei oreso el hakohen the Torah so Merow shenis el hakohen v'ra'ah hakohen v'hinei pasa hamizpachat ba'or v'timo hakohen sorati.
Yashar Koach to Marcel on reading Torah for us this morning. Our next reader will be Donna Levin. She'll be beginning verse 9, the very bottom of page 653.
Nekatzarat ki tihye be'adam vehuva el hakohen v'ra'ah hakohen v'hineh se'et levana ba'or v'hi hafecha se'ar lavan u'michyat basar chai bas'et tzaraat noshenet hi be'or bezaro v'tima'o hakohen lo yazkirenu ki tamehu ve'im paroach tifrach hatzarat ba'or v'chiseta hatzarat et kor hanega Merosho ve'ad raglav l'chol mar'eh einei hakohen v'ra'ah hakohen v'hinei chiseta hatzarat et kol bisaro v'tihar et hanaga kulo hafach lavan tahor hu.
Yishar Kochech, Donna. Thank you. And we now invite Lynn Paritsky to continue with the fourth reading, beginning verse 14, page 654.
Uviyom harei bo basar chayitma v'ra'ah hakohen et habasar hachai v'tim'o habasar hachai tamehu tzara'atu o ki yashuv habasar hachai v'nechpach lilavan Uvaha el hakohen v'ra'ahu hakohen v'hinei nechpach hanega lilavan v'tikar hakohen et hanega tahor hu.
Yishar Kochech, Lynn. Thank you for reading. We now turn to our Chazan, Cantor Jacob Agar, who's going to be reading the fifth Aliyah, beginning verse 18, the very bottom of page 654.
ובשר כי יבוברו שכין ונרפא והיה במקום השכין סיית לבנה ובהרת לבנה אדם דמת ונראה אל הכהן וראה הכהן והנה מראה שפל מן האור ושרה הפך לבן ותימו הכהן נגע צרת היא בשכין פרחה ואם יראנה הכהן והנה אין בה שיער לבן ושפלה איננה מן האור והיא חיה והזכירו הכהן 7 ימים ואין פסו תפסה באור ותימא הכהן אותו נגע היא ואם תחתיה תעמוד הבחרת לא פסתה צרבת השכין היא ותיארו הכהן.
We say Asher Koach to our Chazan, Cantor Jacob Agar, for reading Torah for us. And now we turn to a very close family friend of Rabbi Merow, Jonah Katz, who we sometimes gently call Rabbi Katz, to read the 6th Aliyah, beginning verse 24.
O basar ki ve'oro michvat esh ve'haita michyat hamichva baheret levana damedemet o levana vera'ota hakohen v'hine nepach she'ar lavan babaheret umar'e amok min ha'or tzarat hi b'michva paracha V'timei oto hakohen negat tzarad hi ve'im irena hakohen v'hine en babeheret she'ar lavan ushvela einena min ha'or ve'hi cha'ah ve'hiskiro hakohen shivat yamim.
Say Yasher Koach to Jonah on reading Torah for us. And our last Torah reader is Linda Abrams. She'll be reading starting verse 27 towards the bottom of page 655 of the Eitz Chaim.
V'ra'ahu hakohen bayom hashvi'i im pasaho tiseh ba'or v'timei hakohen oto nega tzarativ v'im tachteha ta'amod habaheret lo fastah ba'or v'hivcheha te'et hamichvah hiv v'tiharo hakohen ki tzarevet hamichvah hiv ve'ish o isha ki yevo naga v'rosh o v'zakan v'ra'ah hakohen et hanega v'hineh marehu amok min ha'or uvo se'ar tzahov dak v'timei oto hakohen neterhu tzarat harosh az hazakan hu.
Shar Kochech, Linda, thank you for reading Torah, and thanks to all who read Torah for us so beautifully this morning, and to Mark for coordinating our Torah readers. At this time, we want to invite Sarah Landis and Rebecca Landis to be able to share a few words of tribute in honor of Rabbi Merow at this time. We have to unmute Sarah before we begin.
She wasn't muted. I think it's just the volume wasn't.
I see it. I see that she's muted according to my screen.
Yeah, she is muted. So is Rebecca.
Unmute myself, but I don't think my mother can unmute herself.
Oh.
You won't be able to see it. Wait. Is she still muted?
We've lost her. We've lost her visual image, and she's still muted. Yes.
So.
Okay.
Maybe I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go back to another part of the service and hope that with a little help, Sarah can get the technical difficulties arranged, and we'll come back. Okay.
And before you move on, Rabbi GK, I know that Pam Maman is on right now, and maybe she could call and have someone help.
Okay. So we'll work on trying to make sure we can get Sarah seen and heard, but we're going to go on at this time to Mishaberach L'Cholim. I want to invite all of us who are here to just spend a moment quietly having the names and images of the people in our lives we know who are in need of healing. And I'm going to sing the words of Debbie Friedman's Mishaberach L'Cholim, and we invite each of you to be able to hold all of those in your lives in need of healing in your hearts. And please join me as we sing these words. Mishaberach avotenu Mekor habracha li'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It looks like Sora is now unmuted, so we're going to go back to Sora and Rebecca and invite them to share some words at this time.
I first met Rabbi Merow when I was principal at Foreman, and she came to a service of Torah reading where a student from her school was reading 3 psukim. I was so impressed that a busy young rabbi would come out for such an occasion. It showed her devotion to Jewish education. I next met her on an El Al plane flying to Israel, where we stood and talked for an hour behind these seats until they shushed us and we had to sit down and stop. And then I thirdly met her when she came to Beth Shalom. I am so impressed with what she has done here in the congregation in terms of the Sabbath experience, the food pantry, the social awareness that she has brought to the congregation. It's a different congregation today from when she came. And I wish her all the best in her future endeavor in Princeton. I know she'll be a great success. Now it's Rebecca's turn. Where's Rebecca?
That someone has to show.
It's Rebecca's turn. Yes.
Do I need to wait, or should I talk?
No, right now, you're on.
Okay. As we all know, Rabbi Merow has a way of doing caring and thoughtful things for people. When my mother lost most of her vision to macular degeneration, Rabbi Merow would stand beside her when we had services in person and say the silent Amida aloud to her. And then when we were on Zoom, she continued to call during the Silent Amida and read it, as did Rabbi GK. They would take turns, and it meant so much to my mother and to all of us, the care and the thoughtfulness. And recently she called, in the midst of everything that she has going on, she called my mother to see what seminar she would like at the Rabbinical Convention to be a part of. And then she made sure that the links were sent to her so that she could join virtually. And finally, just this week, she has been so helpful, I can't tell you, on telling me to look on Yelp for the how places were rated for my mother to go to rehab, and had a wonderful, gave me a connection that did wonders, because my mother, as you could see, is on a first floor with a window, so we can visit even with COVID. So I know everyone has had similar experiences with Rabbi Merow. We will all miss you, and our loss is Princeton Jewish Center's gain. May you go from strength to strength. We love you, Andy.
Thank you, Sarah and Rebecca. I want to say that there has been a committee of people that have been working so many hours to try to help make this this day possible, and all of the events honoring Rabbi Merow possible. And so things have been prepared with quite a lot of attention to detail. And we even have made sure that Rabbi Merow has an outline and a schedule of everything that is supposed to happen in the service this morning. But there is one detail that says at about 11:13, we expect some words to be given to her from a surprise guest who's going to give a surprise tribute. So this is the person and the tribute that we have not, that Rabbi Merow has not, is not aware of. So without further ado, it's my honor to ask Ellen Lair if she will say some words to Rabbi Merow and present her with something.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom. I am Ellen Lair, and it is my pleasure this Shabbat morning to honor Rabbi Merow. 14 years ago, Rabbi Merow asked if I had time to help her open a food pantry at Beth Shalom. Of course, I said yes, even though I had no idea how to start or manage a food pantry. Rabbi Merow had done this before at Temple Shalom in Northeast Philadelphia, and she assured me we'd figure it out. I later found out that she has been at this a long time, starting her first food drive in the 9th grade. Rabbi Merow taught me the process of working with Jewish Federation and state and local agencies to get funding and food to stock the pantry shelves. She was very good at finding volunteers to work in the pantry, even when I called her on the Tuesday to say I was short-staffed for Wednesday. Our pantry was located in the old men's locker room in the basement by the empty indoor pool. It was a small, damp, dreary area. With some cleaning, a fresh coat of paint, and new carpet, the volunteers and I made the pantry a little more cheerful, even if heavy rains still flooded our floors. It was a challenge to convince some of our synagogue members that it was essential to serve those in need, both Jewish and non-Jewish. Luckily, we had enough funding to accomplish Rabbi Merow's vision of serving anyone who came to the pantry door. None of this could have happened each and every Wednesday without amazing, dedicated, hardworking volunteers. Word of mouth spread quickly throughout the community about our pantry, and we went from serving a handful of clients to over 130 families and individuals each week. Today, the pantry has expanded hours and serves 250 families and individuals each week. It is managed expertly by Stuart Worzetsky and Beverly McFadden, together with their tireless volunteer staff. Why was Rabbi Merow so determined to have a food pantry at our synagogue? Her embrace of tikkun olam, acts of kindness, helping others, began at home. Her parents, Ed, Zichron Livracha, and Sonny, taught their 3 children by example, doing quiet mitzvahs throughout their community. Rabbi's mother, Sonny, worked in our pantry every Wednesday for many years. She has a unique knack for befriending people. She uses a smile and humor to make everyone feel welcome and comfortable. My family is a recipient of Rabbi Merow's immense empathy and warmth. We met Rabbi Merow at a very difficult time in our lives, and she helped us through a period of tremendous grief. Many other families have benefited from her lifelong goal to make our world a better place. Rabbi Merow doesn't seek accolades for any of this. This is simply who she is. Rabbi Merow, it is my pleasure to present you with this plaque commemorating the renaming of the Mitzvah Food Pantry and the Pantry Fund in honor of you and your wonderful family. This plaque, together with a photo of you and your family, will be hung by the entrance to the food pantry. Let me read the inscription. The Merow Family Mitzvah Food Pantry, dedicated with deep gratitude for your vision, leadership, and commitment to Tikkun Olam. On behalf of this congregation and every client of the Merow Family Food Pantry, I want to say thank you to Andy Merow, my rabbi, my mentor, and my friend. Please continue to make the world a better place, inspiring those you know and everyone you meet.
Thank you, Ellen. And thank you for announcing that from this point forward, the Merow Family Mitzvah Food Pantry will be the place that we serve food to our larger community and congregation. We're just going to take a moment to just have people be able to absorb that. And now Rabbi Merow is holding it up for us. If you have access to her camera, you can see that that's the surprise that has been given to her and that Ellen has presented to her on behalf of the community and the congregation.
I know that I'm not supposed to stop, but yeah, I guess the right word is verklempt. And deep sense of gratitude. My mom is on today watching. Our mom, my sister is sitting here, my cousin's sitting here. Also, Yasher Koach to the Beth Shalom folks who keep who usually nothing's a secret here. And I'm really so grateful that the pantry will continue to serve our 2 sets of clients. Because I feel like the people that it serves the most is us, the people who get to work there. Each one of us who gets to volunteer there or do any kind of work for it, writing thank you notes or whatever we do, we're working there, we become a client of the pantry as well because we're able to be in it with other human beings. It's an amazing thing to have volunteers. Now many years of volunteers who are so committed, and I'm so grateful that this is the way that you are memorializing my time at Shalom. There are no words for how lovely and beautiful this is.
Thank you. And thanks to Ellen for making that beautiful presentation. We're actually going to turn back to a little bit of prayer. There'll be some more words to Rabbi Merow coming up, but at this time, if you do have your Siddur, we'll invite you to open it to page 148 as we invite 2 of the people who always make people feel welcome at Shabbat services, Val and Joe Lieberman, to lead us in the prayer for our country, page 148.
I want to make sure I'm muted here.
You're unmuted now.
Okay. I pray for our country, our God and God of our ancestors. We ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights from your Torah, that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst.
Creator of all flesh, bless all our inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony to banish hatred and bigotry and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land, under your providence, be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say amen.
Amen. We're going to continue now as we invite Selma and Marty Rothman, two people who embody so much a deep love of the state of Israel, to lead us right now in the prayer for the state of Israel, which is found on page 149 of your prayer book.
I just want to say that we share that love of Israel with our beloved friend and rabbi and mentor, Rabbi Merow. She has certainly been an inspiration to us, an encouragement to us in that love of the state of Israel. Please join us. We have a slight melody that we're going to start with at the beginning. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Goalo. Join us. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Goalo. Barech et Midinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Yulatenu. Hagen alecha ve'evrak kaskecha, ufros alecha sukat shlomecha, ushlach orcha v'amikal rashecha, sarecha v'yoatzecha, v'taknen be'itzat tova milfanecha, chazek et yedei miknei eretz kachenu, v'hanchilem Eloheinu Yeshua, v'ateret nitzachon te'atrem, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam v'yoshvecha, Omar, amen. And in conclusion, usually following on Rosh Chodesh, the blessing for the state, there is added a special prayer. We have changed the prayer. It's very short, but I'd like to share it with you. It's a blessing for our dear Rabbi Andrea Merow. As she continues to dedicate herself to Am and Medinat Yisrael, we would like to add the following. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, shetechadesh al Rav Merow, chayim letova v'livracha, a life of goodness and blessing, chayim arukim, a long life, chayim shel shalom, a life of peace, Chayim shel osher v'kavod, a life of richness, happiness, and kavod, honor. Chayim sheyimal'u mishalot liba l'tova, one that gives her fulfillment of her dreams. Amen. And join me saying amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Selma and Marty. Thank you, Val and Joe. Our next person who wants to speak from her heart to Rabbi Merow is, I know, a beloved friend of Rabbi Merow, and we're going to ask Ruth Bliefenthal-Appel if she will now offer some words to Rabbi Merow at this time.
Shabbat Shalom. We all have an eternal light, our own near Talmud inside of us. Our dear Rabbi is one who has helped many of us to raise up that light within. Lahat alot near Talmud, through her holy and passionate words, through her actions, meditation, chanting, song, prayer, friendship, and leadership. She's been our partner along the way. What a blessing. Thus, I couldn't feel more honored on the sacred day of Shabbat to help honor our dear friend and rabbi as she transitions to gloriously serve a new congregation. They've chosen well, for they, like us, will feel the grace, the deep spiritual passion, the creativity, the entrenched Jewish values that are so integral to who she is. She infuses this all with love and caring, not only within our four walls, but always reaching and finding need within our broader community. Rabbi, friend, and leader. We've experienced all these qualities in that special Rabbi Andy way. I share one of many personal experiences I had with her, which I feel encapsulates a part of who she is as a person and as a rabbi. I reached out to her a number of years ago at a difficult time in my life, and I felt the need to establish a Jewish ritual punctuating and marking a transition in my life following the passing of my husband and looking into the future. She delved into this with me, teaching me, sharing creative rituals that I could adapt, and giving me support and encouragement to create a Jewish ritual that fit my needs. It was a deeply spiritual, intimate, and vulnerable process that she accompanied me through from beginning to end, bearing witness. This is who she is, sharing her neshama and giving support to others to continually find one's way with God and with new, creative, and personal Jewish rituals through the life cycle. Rabbi Andy, you will always be a part of our individual and collective Ner Tamid. For once it's lit, it's always part of our process of raising the light within. Thanks for helping us to raise that light within. Thanks for sharing your neshama and heart. And thanks for sharing your rabbinic passion and talents. Knowing your life is so very full of mitzvot, I know that God's blessings will always surround you wherever you are. I'll miss you, and my love goes with you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, and thank you, Ruth, for those beautiful, beautiful words. We're going to once again turn back to our Siddur, and this time we're going to invite the Chazan Emeritus of Beth Shalom Congregation, Chazan David Tillman, to lead us in prayer for the Musaf service.
Video.
We're going to, yes, the video is not yet on, but we're going to invite you to turn with the Chazan to page 155 of your prayer book. And if you're able to rise, we invite you to do so. We begin first with the Chatzi Kaddish, followed by the Amidah for the Musaf service, which will continue on page 156b.
Reshut Rabbanim, I'm so honored to be taking part in this tribute today. There are two melodies in our tradition and two wonderful songs that talk about the role that rabbis play in our life. The first one is called When Az the Rebbe Gate, that says simply, where the rabbi goes, we go after her. And the second song, the Rebbe Elimelech, is the patron song of all musical rabbis, of whom Rabbi Merow goes to the top of the list. And the Rebbe Elimelech song says that when the rabbi is happy, she summons the violinist, the drummer, and the cymbal player to play music along with her. So in that spirit, it's my intention to reference those melodies, when Az the Rebbe Gate and Rebbe Elimelech, when we get to the Musaf Kedusha. So now the Chatzi Kaddish, page 155. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah bi'alem hadi v'rakirute v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei lechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv imeru amen Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach li'olam li'olmei omaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha בריחו ליין לה, עם כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה, ויאמרו אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד, ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה, רב להושיע מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים וחסד מחיה מתים, ברחמים רבים צומח נופלים, רופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. לה 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 La 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 ונאמנתן החיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
אמן. נריסה ונקדיש ככתוציע שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב את נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר.
La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. נעריצך ונקישך כסול שיח, שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה, וקרא זה אל זה, ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו.
שואלים זה לזה, מקום ברוך יאמרו.
כבודו מלא עולם בשרת ושואלים, זה לזה. היה מקום כבודו, לאומתם ברוך יאמרו. היה מקום כבודו, לאומתם ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. ממקומו הוא יפן ברחמים, יכון עמם יחד עם שמו, ערב הבוקר בכל יום תמיד, פעמיים באהבה שמה אומרים, שמה ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, Adonai Echad. Eloheinu Avinu Umakenu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu V'Yashmienu Berachamav Sheinit Lienei Kol Chai Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav Sheinit Lienei Kol Chai Liot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם ועד, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, כי אל מלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, וקדוש וקדוש אתה, כי אל מלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, וקדוש וקדוש אתה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Continue now privately through page 161 of your Siddur. Those of you who are still davening, we invite you to continue to do so. Those of you who've concluded should turn ahead with Chazan Tillman to page 181 as we continue with Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ויולמד יברכירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ויומכון, ובחייך בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ימרו, אמן.
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם לעולמי יומיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר מדלבית עלה שמי דקודשה. איכולי אלה, עם כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושביחתה ונחמתה דמירון ביולמה וימרו, אמן.
אמן.
תתקבל אצל אותון דכל ישראל, קודם אבוהון דבשמיא וימרו, אמן.
אמן.
שלום הרב מן שמיא בחיים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו, אמן. ועושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו amen.
So Yasher Koach to Chazan Tillman on leading us in a beautiful Musaf service. At this time, we want to invite a beloved close friend of Rabbi Merow, who also for many years was the president of Temple Shalom when she served as the rabbi of that congregation and was a longtime member of the board of Beth Shalom and also chair of our education committee. To say a few words, I'd like to invite Arnie Laurie to speak to Rabbi Merow at this time.
Thank you, Rabbi GK, and Shabbat Shalom. I want to begin by saying how proud I am of you, Rabbi Merow, and how grateful for what you have accomplished over the past 25 years. In a way, the rabbi and I grew up together. When I met her, she was a newly minted graduate from JTS, and I was a backbencher at Temple Shalom. Within short order, she was the congregation's rabbi, and I was its president. It was to be a tremendous learning experience for both of us. The clergy of my youth were straight out of Central casting, with their Eastern European accents and her senatorial bearing. But from your first moments on the bema with the youngest of Temple Shalom's children, it was clear that you brought a totally new dynamic to Shabbat services. You showed me what good clergy could be, thus forever changing my definition of what good clergy should be. So at the same time I celebrate the next phase of your career, I want to honor the things about you that I most appreciate. The first is your sense of purpose. Your mission was to connect Jews to Judaism, and you were always willing to meet people where they were on that journey. Understanding the prayer was but one path into Judaism, you gave congregants a chance to live out their values, to learn about Jewish history and culture, to embrace the concepts of tikkun olam in daily life, and not just in theory. You're an excellent teacher, to be sure, but your best lessons were often delivered through your actions, not just your words. But what's purpose without passion? Your passion defines you and benefits those on whose behalf you work. As an advocate, you were relentless in the pursuit. You brought the food pantry into our lives. You championed social justice in the thinking and in the doing. You empowered women to play a stronger role in Judaism. You spoke up for congregants in court, and you made sure that all Jewish children on your watch had ample opportunity to identify as Jews in school and camp and life, often playing the role of personal fundraiser to ensure that every door was open. And as everyone in this room can attest, you're a hard woman to turn down. And finally, what's passion without compassion? The thing I admire most is the extraordinary sense of compassion you bring to your pastoral work. Yes, you were ever present in Shiva houses and hospital rooms, but not only did you come, you stayed. You sat in the infusion room while chemo was administered. You stayed around after the funeral to make sure that the bereaved had things to connect to and to live for. You made room at your personal table for people who had no place for the holiday. You made sure that the bar mitzvah boy had a decent suit to wear on the day he became a man. You never confined yourself to one side of the pulpit. Instead, you were right in there with us, making sure that we had the strength to get through the vicissitudes of everyday life. With your purpose, you taught us. With your passion, you inspired us. And with your compassion, you made us whole. To me, that is now and will forever remain my textbook definition of a rabbi. You're leaving us better than you found us, and we will miss you. and I wish you the best in your new pulpit. Shabbat shalom, and thank you.
Thank you, Arnie, for those beautiful, beautiful words. We're going to now invite one of the teens that Rabbi Merow has encouraged to be one of the members of our singing community in many, many parts of our congregational life. We're going to ask Morgan Ziegelbaum if she'll lead us in Ein Keloheinu on page 182 of the Siddur.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kimolkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kimolkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, No Del Eloheinu, Lo Del Adonenu, No Del Emolkeinu, No Del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shekiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha et Korat Hashamim.
Yashar Kochech, Morgan, thank you for leading us. And we're going to turn back to Rabbi Merow, who's going to lead us as we continue the service. If you're able to rise, we invite you to do so as we continue with Aleinu, page 183.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula liyoter bereshit, shelo atzanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kaham, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shunat hashamayim v'yoser haaretz moshav yikar b'shamayim mimal ushkinatu zo begav hemeromim hu Eloheinu ein hamem malkeinu efes ulato kakatu b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashe botza levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mimal el haaretz mitachat ein od al kein nekabel. Tishava kol hashom. Haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz. Hayom hahu Adonai echad u'shemo echad. I invite those of you who join me in the process of mourning, those of you observing a yard site, so join us in Mourner's Kaddish, page 184.
Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Divra Kirite, V'yamlich Machute, V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chaye V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalah, V'zman Karev V'imru, Amen. Yesh Rabba Nor, Maya Yikara, Yishtaba, Yikara, Yikada, Yikala, Shnei Yudisha, Precho, Elam Yimol Firata, Yishpata V'nechamata, V'amilam V'alam V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shana Rabbi Shemaya, V'chalim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen.
Amen.
Say Shalom V'imru, Shalom, Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen.
So we have heard such extraordinarily exquisite words of honor and tribute to Rabbi Merow. And I am going to speak to you, Andy, both as a colleague and friend, and also as a rabbi who's worked with you at Beth Shalom for these past 17 years. I want to start by, as many of us have done who've been speaking to Andy, talking about the first time I met you. So it was just about 17 years ago, and I had recently been offered the position of becoming the senior rabbi of Beth Shalom congregation. And I was living in Westchester, Pennsylvania, finishing up my tenure at my first congregation, Kesher Israel. And I received a phone call from Andy, and the phone call was, could I come out to meet you? And what I learned was that her congregation, Temple Shalom, had just made the decision to merge with Beth Shalom. And she had been offered the opportunity to stay on as a rabbi for 2 years with this new combined entity, and she wanted to meet me. So I said, sure, absolutely. And I invited her to come out to our home in Westchester. And we sat down and we began to chat. And very soon into the conversation, I realized something. And what I realized was that Andy was interviewing me. She was deciding if I were someone that she could work with. And I realized that just when I had thought that I had finished all of the interview process around Beth Shalom, that here was my final interview actually happening, and there hadn't been any time to prepare. But 17 years later, I want to say to you, Andy, that I am really deeply glad that I passed the test, and that you thought that we could work together. And I want to say that I think it's incredibly rare that two rabbis get to spend 17 years together working to serve the Jewish people in the kind of partnership that Rabbi Merow and I have had. And I am more grateful than you know for these wonderful years of collaboration and friendship that we've shared over this time. I want to start by first addressing you directly, Andy. And I know that one of your rabbinic mentors, Rabbi Bill Lebo, has said that the last few months of a long tenure at a congregation can feel like you are listening to your eulogy. But I want you to know that during these last few months and this morning, these expressions that you have heard are not your eulogy. What you are hearing today and what you are experiencing today is an offering of those of us whose lives you have touched so deeply and so profoundly, an offering that expresses gratitude for all that you have given us during these last 17 years, and for those former Temple Shalom members, these last 2.5 decades. And I want to contribute to the offerings that you have heard today by highlighting 3 Jewish concepts that you have lived and that you have embodied and that you do live and do embody as a rabbi, teacher, and mentor for our community. And some of these you have heard from others already today. The first concept I want to offer you are the words Shir Ladonai Shir Chadash. 2 of the first 5 Psalms in our Kabbalat Shabbat service, Psalms 96 and 98, begin with those words, Shir Ladonai Shir Chadash, sing to God a new song. And we know that it's a beautiful concept because we know how hard it is to sing a new song to God each time we pray. Because we Jews know that we're praying the same words that we prayed yesterday and that we prayed last week. But what you have modeled in so much of the work that you have done for us here at Beth Shalom is to take the familiar and always seek ways to infuse it with the new, which means that when it came to our Jewish life here in this community, when it came to holidays and Shabbat experiences, it was not just about finding something that we had done in the past and doing it again, or finding someone else's curriculum to think about what we could borrow. It was about finding a new theme for the year, a new way of bringing fresh ideas and energy to what we did. yes, year after year, we had the same cycle of holidays, and day after day, the same prayers. But you always found ways to do them and to offer them with fresh eyes and fresh possibilities. And you have the gift of making the routine feel new. And you have always envisioned and helped give birth to new ideas and to new songs. And of course, to find almost any opportunity to sing, which is your favorite way of expressing joy. Which leads me to the second concept, which Rabbi Wernick already commented on, but I happen to believe is Rabbi Merow's personal and professional mission statement, and which I want to connect to song. And that is, Ana Avda Dekucha Brichu. I am a servant of the Holy One of Blessing. Many of you may not know that over the years, I have poked fun at Rabbi Merow gently, because there has rarely been a high holiday sermon that I have heard her give in which she has not sung some part of her sermon, usually a verse that amplified a theme that she was speaking about. So many sermons of song we have heard from her over the years. So in honor of Rabbi Merow, I'd like to sing her mission statement back to her. Ana, 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 Aveda de Kudesh Aberichu, Ana, 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 Aveda de Kudesh Aberichu, Ana, 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 Aveda de Kudesh Aberichu, Ana, 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 Aveda de Kudesh Aberichu. I am a servant of the Holy One of Blessing, those words say in the Aramaic. Or we might say, let my life be a series of acts of service to the Holy One of Blessing. All of us in this community feel that you, Andy, you, Rabbi Merow, are called to the work of a rabbi. And we feel that this is what the Holy One of Blessing has put you on earth to do, to be a rabbi and a teacher and to serve the Jewish people. And we have been the recipients of so many of your acts of service, so many of which have been articulated this morning in the many tributes that you have heard. So the third and last concept that I want to offer you is the two-word exhortation that God offers to Abraham in Parshat Lech Lecha, the words V'heyeh bracha, and you shall be a blessing. God is imploring Abraham to take this new journey and begin a new path that will embody a way of life that will bring blessing to the world. And God says after those words, V'heyeh bracha, God says to Abraham, V'nivracha v'cha kol mishpachot ha'adama, and all the families of the world will be blessed by you. Your actions can be a source of blessing, God is saying to Abraham, and they will reverberate and ripple out beyond the lives of those with whom you come into contact. Indeed, the entire world will be blessed by the blessings that you bring. So how does one become a blessing? The Midrash, in commenting on the verse, Vayiten Avraham et kol asher lo liyitzchak, and Abraham gave all that he possessed to Isaac, has an answer. When one gives kol asher la, when one gives all that she has, when one is giving of her spiritual resources, of her essence, of her very being, that is how you become a blessing. V'heyeh bracha, and you shall be a blessing, means that you are giving of your very being to that which you serve. In this way, all of us know how much we have been blessed by the way in which you have lived out your mission statement, to be a servant of the Holy One of Blessing, to find new ways of serving, and to sing out that service with all of your being. At hayita bracha, you have been a blessing to us. at tiyeh bracha. You will continue to be a blessing to us as you leave us, and to the Jewish Center in Princeton, where your next chapter will unfold. May you always know how much blessing you have given. Shabbat Shalom. We're now going to conclude the service with one more of our teens who Rabbi Merow spotted early on with her great talent and her great voice, and had her sing for us on so many occasions. And so, Marielle, if you would lead us, we're going to turn to page 187 of the prayer book, and you're going to conclude our service with the Don Olam.
Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'Hefsu Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Be'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Behu haya, behu hove, behu yeh betifara, behu yeh betifara, behu ehad ve'en sheni, lehamishlo, lehabira, beli reshit, beli tachlit, belo ha'oz, v'hamisra, belo ha'oz, v'hamisra, behu eli, v'hai goali, v'tzor hevli, v'etzara, behu nisi umanosli, menad kosi beyom ekra, menad kosi beyom ekra, beyado avkid ruchi, be'etishan, be'aira, be'imruhi giviati, Adonai li velo ira, Adonai li velo ira.
Thank you, Marielle, and Shabbat Shalom. I have a few announcements. Don't go anywhere, people. Thank you, Marielle. First of all, I really, I want to just say that none of this morning and none of this whole period of time to honor Rabbi Merow would have been possible without the unbelievable love and dedication and hard work of three amazing women in our community. And I know they don't want me to thank them, but I'm going to overrule them on this one thing and begin by thanking Jeanette Norris, Sherry Leibowitz, and Marcel Bate for the unbelievable amount of love and time that they put into making all of these tributes and all of these activities possible. And this whole period, their tireless efforts have been really beautiful to behold. And they're clearly done from a place of love for you, Rabbi Merow. So thank you. They have not been the only ones who have been working to help make this period very special. We're going to have an amazing Beit Cafe tonight, the Rabbi Merow Experience, which we hope all of you will be back for. It's going to start promptly at 8 p.m., so don't get there late. Be there early if you don't want to miss. It's going to be a fabulous, fun, wonderful, a little bit lighter than this morning, I promise you. And we want to thank Jay Leisner, Amy Brustein, and Ann Rubin for putting tons and tons of work into that. We want to thank Kim Decker, who has something I think is also going to be part of a surprise that's going to be presented tonight to Rabbi Merow, so I can't say exactly what that is. We want to also thank Lisa Weiss-Shore and Cheryl Love for also being very, very much involved in helping us to gather together words that people want to share with Rabbi Merow that she'll have for a keepsake. I want to thank Mark Love for helping to organize all the Torah reading today. I'm sure there are volunteers in the community that I may have left out, and please forgive me if I have. I also can't. I also need to thank. Well, first of all, the staff as a whole, but there have been really two people who've just been putting unbelievable amounts of time into all of the preparations to honor Rabbi Merow, and I want to acknowledge them individually. I want to acknowledge Julie Atchik and Stacy Salzman, who again have just put in so much incredible love and devotion and hard work to make sure things could go as smoothly as they went. And I have to say that I want you to know that we had a minute-by-minute outline of everyone's role in today's service. And basically we were within 3 minutes or so of the entire outline from beginning to end. So I have to say, that's pretty impressive. And Julie and Stacy, thank you for making all that happen. I hope that many of you ordered lunch, because we're not ending the Zoom when we say Kiddush and say Hamotzi. We're going to stay on the call, invite people to be able to share some words with Rabbi Merow. Her sister Mindy is with her at home today, and so don't prepare to leave. We're going to do Kiddush. I have a cup for Kiddush. If you have something, please get it. I'll lead us in Kiddush. Rabbi Merow, Andy, if you have, challah, you can do some.
Oh yeah, I'll do the challah.
You'll do the challah. And then we'll give people a few minutes to get some of their food together and invite them to come back and share some time with Rabbi Merow over Shabbat lunch. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lahasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein v'nei Yisrael Ohoti le'olam Beini uvein v'nei Yisrael Ohoti le'olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Al kein barachon Yom HaShabbat v'kadshehu Savri Chaverai
L'chaim.
Baruch Adonai Enu melech olam Borei pri hagafen.
Amen. There is a sense that I am a little bit speechless right now, which is not usual for a rabbi, and particularly for me. I really need to sort of take this in a little bit more, but I want to say that how grateful I am for each of you being here, for each of you who put time into speaking, for the folks that Rabbi GK just mentioned, who have spent so much time helping me to leave and go to the next chapter of my life with such love. I do hope you come on tonight so that you can see that that committee decorated my house as if it were a Shabbat experience. So there's actually a large camel in my house right now, but you have to wait till tonight to see it. So we like to say, so gratitude to each of you for being in my life, and individual comments later. This week, the Mitzvah Food Pantry was so lucky to be able to serve many clients, and in the future, may the food pantry have the ability to serve more and the need to serve less.
Amen. Amen. So why don't we invite people, if you want to take off your talit, if you want to stretch for a minute, take a human break, and come back when you have some food. We're going to keep the Zoom on, and we'll look forward to having some time to schmooze and to be together with Rabbi Merow over some lunch. So we'll see people in a few moments if you wanted to take a few to get yourselves together.
So I'm upstairs in my bedroom.
Rabbi Merow,
Rabbi Merow,
Yes, Kim?
I just want to tell you that it's really true. You know that song from Wicked, Because I Knew You, I've Been Changed for Good? That's really, truly how we feel about you.
The way about you too. Hey, Bennett, my cousin, who's like a sister, is here. And her daughter, after 10 years of trying to become a mom, just adopted last week.
Mazal tov.
The little girl's middle name, it's a girl, is Bennett.
Hey, that's awesome.
But Bennett wants to tell you something.
I also wanted to say that I don't want to. I am marginally involved in this evening's proceedings, but I do want to say that I really don't know who I would be without your presence in my life and in our lives. And so I wanted to come on and briefly thank you for everything that you've done.
To my fellow alum. College alum.
The Lions. I remember. I just want to say I remember the day the Shabbos before I think I left for school, or the Shabbos after I decided I was going to JTS publicly or something like that. You called me up to the Bima for an aliyah or something like that, or I led Musaf or something, and you stopped davening and you said something like, Bennett, I want to teach you a new nigun that you'll carry with you into your next life. And then the nigun goes like this.
Tanner Tillman knows it really well.
Oh yeah? For those who don't know, the nigun goes like this. Yai dai dai dai, yai boy 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 boy. And I didn't get it for a second. And then I still remember that moment. It was a great time.
The words are roar lions roar for the Columbia Lions.
And wake the echoes of the Hudson Valley.
Fight on for victory evermore.
I've used that bit on other people. So as you learn Torah, you should teach Torah.
Tanner Tillman knows all the words.
I do. It's one line, one collective line for representing all Columbia alumni for the last 260 years. So that's when the bold teams of old wore the blue and white, deeds of fame made their name here at Old Columbia. Nowadays we can praise fighting teams again. Hear the lion roar his pride, while the men of Morningside, men and women Morningside follow the blue and white to victory, roar a lion roar, and wake the echoes of the Hudson Valley, fight unto victory evermore, while the sons of Knickerbocker rally round Columbia, shouting her name forever, roar lion roar, wake the echoes of the Hudson shore. Then there's a big cadence. Roar, you lion, roar. It's a high B flat at the end.
I was a little disappointed that you didn't use that nigun for Musaf today
Musaf was perfect. Musaf was perfect. When as did I best. It's great.
Rabbi Merow, what you've done for my children and what you've done for everyone's children, there's no way that we could thank you for everything that you've done.
This is Kim Decker, and Kim is the coordinator of our Kahila. And yesterday, 1,600 people got COVID shots because of Kim.
But what people should really know is I had 8 left. And the last time I had a few left, it was Rabbi Merow that announced on services that we had left over. And it was the people of Beth Shalom that benefited from Rabbi Merow's continued connectiveness to the whole world and helped me fill the ones so we didn't have to throw them away. And again, last night, it was Rabbi Merow that helped me get rid of the last one so we didn't have to throw a single one away. And that completely encapsulates who you are and what you do.
It's true.
Yeah, but I have to add also, Kim, that you're a one-man gang too, because of you, I was able to get my second shot yesterday. And prior to me hooking up with you, I sat a nervous wreck of where I was even going to get the vaccine. So I thank you immensely.
I thank you, but I have to tell you, I'm just an occupational therapist that loves the Jewish community, and Rabbi Merow taught me everything I know on how to do this job. And I've learned from the best. I've learned from the best Shalom clergy.
I second that. She's a one-man gang that I don't think there's anyone that we have ever encountered like her. She has helped us through times that have been tough and rough, and I went to her and she just had the magic. She had the answers. She had the solutions. She had just magic to come up with a solution. And sometimes I felt like there was no end, and she had that end. And we're really going to miss her. I wish we could clone her and keep part of her at Beth Shalom, because Rabbi, you need to be 10 of you to spread around, because you're just a wonderful person and you will be sorely missed at Beth Shalom. But we wish you the absolute best in Princeton, and I'm sure that they will just love you as much as we did here. And I'm sure you'll pop in maybe when we can figure out how to clone you. We'll get a 10th of you back. But we wish you the absolute best in your future, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you are touching the world, just not one. You're touching the world one person at a time, and that's what it's all about. So thank you for all that you have done for the Beth Shalom community and our family and every other family along the way.
So the only way that you can have a good rabbinate is by having good congregants. Although I am struck that I've had incredible also people to work with, I want to mention my first emeritus rabbi, Rabbi Pinchas Chazin of blessed memory. His daughter Rina is here, and I'm not sure she knows how much he meant to me and how lucky I was at the very beginning as a 27-year-old to have his mentorship and his joy, and to have inherited the congregation that he served with such joy and kindness and egalitarianism for so long. I was so lucky to know your parents, Rina, and to be a little bit in their shadow, be just amazing. But also here at Beth Shalom, to be with Rabbi and Sora Sheyibadal Chaim, who should live and be well. Rabbi Landis of blessed memory. I know that a female rabbi wasn't probably their first choice, but they jumped on the bandwagon pretty soon and are incredibly special to me. It was special that my neighbor and fellow lover of chocolate, Cantor Tillman, led Musaf today. I did not always make things easy for Cantor Tillman. So he's pretty amazing at what he does. Each member of the staff of Beth Shalom is so important because we work like a family. We work like a family. We have lots of joy together, lots of laughing. And I think that that's one of the things that sort of keeps us all together. And throughout this pandemic, we need some laughter. So John Sable, we're happy to hear your joke at some point later today.
Rabbi Merow, it's Shirley.
Hello, Shirley.
Good luck to you. I still remember how fond my husband Jules was of you. Thank you for everything you've done.
And thank you for being on today. Thank you.
Rabbi Merow, I just want to thank you for all you've done. You really taught us to appreciate the Judaism and brought me back to Judaism. You know, I was a cultural Jew before I met you, and now I'm involved with Beth Shalom. But thank you for also, if I never thank you for coming visit me when I had an operation. You know, that was the highlight of, you know, being in the hospital, was having you visit. And offering your blessings and being such a mention. Hope to visit you if you don't mind me stopping by, or Stacy and me stopping by to visit you at your new pulpit. We'd love to do that. And of course, we're we're taking you up on you marrying us, even though, you'll be a rabbi in a new congregation, you'll always be our rabbi, even though we're staying at Beth Shalom and you're moving on, you'll always be our rabbi. So you're a real mention, Toda Ropa and Yashar Koa, and can't thank you enough. And, miss you, but I know that we could always see you because I Googled how far you are. You're 26 miles from my house. So.
What I didn't talk about, by the way, is the clergy partners. So it's hard for me to talk about working with another rabbi for 26 years because I feel lucky to have had a thought partner. I feel lucky that Rabbi GK is brilliant and thoughtful. And in the words of our dear friend, Dr. Steve Treat, self-differentiated, knows this work and does it with love, but also knows how to have a wonderful family and model what it means to have an incredible Jewish family. I'm gonna eat now this beautiful meal that you all sent.
All right, let me just add a comment to Rabbi Merow's comment. Rabbi Merow loves teaching Jews to be Jews through music. What greater partner can there be for a chazan than a rabbi that loves to teach Jews through music? And I was blessed with that in the 6 years of our active partnership, as when I was still the chazan of Beth Shalom congregation, in the 6 years that Rabbi Merow and I were colleagues, and I'm very grateful for that. And I want to say also that of all the rabbis that I've known, and I've known a lot, of all the rabbis that I've known in my career, professionally and personally, I've never met another rabbi who loves doing mitzvot the way Rabbi Merow loves to do mitzvot. And that's, and I'm sure that her new congregants will understand that, will perceive that, as will her new chazan, Jeff Warshauer, will understand that and perceive that. And
So excited to be able to sing those Yiddish songs with him.
Yeah, he'll do it better than I did, I assure you. That's his milieu, that's his métier.
Und als der Rebbe est.
Right. Go ahead, Ness. Go ahead. We're going to do the same.
Hillman gently taught me how to use my higher range. And
sometimes more successfully than others.
Yeah, but convinced me that I didn't need to be at the bottom of my range all the
time. I'm made to that.
No good jokes?
Rabbi, I just want to say you're like Sara Lee cake. There's nobody that doesn't like Sara Lee cake.
Thank you. Our former youth director, SWI advisor, Ami Munson, has been on since 6 a.m. because he's in California. Oh, he's in Vegas and is about to be ordained as a rabbi. We're so excited. And also so many of my dear friends from around the country are here.
So Rabbi, this is you. Oh, will you turn that off, Fran? This is your rabbinical joke for you to take to your new shul.
Wait, Don, give me 1 second.
Bavakasha.
I also wanted to thank the incredible spouses of the families that I've worked with. So I mentioned Sora, but Ellen Tillman knows books. You need a librarian. Ellen Tillman knows books and Judaism and Yiddishkeit. And Deborah Glansberg-Cranen is both a colleague and a friend and a mentor and one of the smartest people I've ever met. So I'm lucky to know her. Also, I really don't know if the shul understands how close those of us are who work here together. Our whole senior staff, Eileen and Julie, and Stacy and Robin and Cheryl and Andrea and Terry and Suzanne. And we not only like to work together, we like to be together and have fun together. Who did I forget, Tara? I'm looking at Tara. Okay, thanks, Don.
So before I begin, I want to reiterate what I wrote to everyone about Kim Decker's really beautiful analogy. That was just beautiful, Kim. It was just so on point and the nicest thing you could say about anybody, so thank you for that. So your biblical humor, it's biblical that you could take with you, and because you're a rabbi, it's got to be biblical or something like that. And it goes to Genesis. And a few of you might have heard this before from me, but because there's so many other folks who I might not regularly see, I wanted to tell it again. So as we know, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And it was really amazing. And the angels were watching, and they just thought it was incredible. And then after God did that, God made this 24-hour period of light and darkness, light and then darkness. And one of the angels said, "Oh my God, Lord God above with us, that was incredible. Light and darkness, 24 hours light and darkness. God, what are you going to do now?" God says, "Call it a day." Ba-dum-bum-bum. That's your biblical humor. Yasher koach. And it's clean, as you always ask.
Clean, wholesome, awesome, great, love it.
I also heard, Rabbi Merow, that with your dog, your beloved dog, what's your dog's name? I forget. Tani. That after you eat something, you have to be like a dealer at the casino going like this to show the dog there's nothing else there. Is that true? Yeah, because you're nice to your dog. So there you have it. Yasher koach.
Rabbi Merow, I can't say anything or write anything more beautiful than everyone else has said or written, but I want to mention that your love of Israel and your passion for Israel just affects everyone, the young people that you deal with, the adults that you deal with. And I really hope, because you love Israel so much, that you get to go when things open up and that many of us get to go with you.
Amen.
I think you have a couple kids that you need to go see and some grandchildren, along with the Katzes.
I was just going to say, we'll go
that.
with you. We'd like to make a toast. I actually whipped out a really good bottle of wine for this Shabbos on your behalf. And Robin and I, and of course, the entire the growing Katz family wishes you, all the best in your new endeavors. And we know that they're lucky up there. You're not too far away. We can still hang out once in a while, but we wish you nothing but health, happiness, and all good things.
And new opportunities.
L'chaim.
You once bring up your pet snake to our Bless the Pets.
Yes, I have had snakes at Beth Shalom more than once over the years at Purim carnivals to raise money, and but I'm out of the snake business now. Although I did get my my oldest grandson a snake for his 8th birthday, so the tradition continues.
Do they still let you see him?
Yeah, once in a while.
They still
Let me see him. And I also ate a goldfish at a Purim carnival one year to raise money when I was a youth commission chair.
Fins and scales, great.
Anything for the school. What can I
Steve.
say?
Steve, I remember the horror on my father's face when you did that.
Your father actually came up to me. I was on the stage in the Fishman, and I said to the kids, if you can raise $1,000 for tzedakah, I'll eat a goldfish. And they went running around, Zayd, I need money. This guy's gonna eat a goldfish. And your father came up to me right as I was about to eat the goldfish, and he said, Stephen, it's against halakha to eat a live animal. And I went and I looked at him. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I smacked the goldfish, and then I ate it. And he just turned around and didn't say a word.
How far we have come. Now we're not allowed to have even give out live ones at the Purim.
Right, right.
Sarba Lechaim.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Steve, I remember that so well, and it was because of that and you that we ended up with goldfish back at our house from that carnival after we had said, no, we're not doing goldfish.
Yeah.
And
Sorry about that.
You turned
Every year.
But Rabbi Merow, I just I think that if I had to write something to say about you, I would just take Rabbi Coburn's speech and her gift to you. So I don't think there's too much more to add to that. But I'd also take a piece of what Ruth said about that Ner Talmid. And I want to thank you for the most recent gift that will stay with me of my very first trip to the mikveh. And I'm grateful to have that. But your Ner Talmid will be with us for a very long time in Margate, thanks to all the wood we're taking with us. When we light our fireplace, your Ner Talmid will be with us. So thank you for that. And we know that you're not too far away. And we know that this next step is going to be so amazing for you when you get past all of this journey part.
Well, today is wonderful and overwhelming, but you shouldn't, I think Rabbi Coburn alluded to it at the very beginning of her speech. You shouldn't think that it's so easy to work for me or with me, because I am, kind of like have things that I want done a certain way, which I am sure is incredibly annoying to my colleagues. And I've learned a lot from them about sort of letting go and just having it be good. And so thank you for all I don't want to get too big ahead because, we all have our issues. And I'm also grateful that my sister is here. And my cousin Jody are both here on the sofa with me. So I apologize to those who I work with who, let's say for a Shabbat experience on a Friday, I decided the museum wasn't done yet and we had to stay an extra few hours and redo it to make it better. I know not one detail matters, but in the end, if you put all the details together, some of them are important. The most important detail is your neshama, each one of you. Right, I'm going to shut up and eat now.
Rabbi Merow, I just want to tell you, as I'm eating leftover shakshuka in your honor, that thank you for a wonderful 17 years. Your warmth, your caring, and your leadership has been our
Actually, I should say. Okay, put it on again. Down the left.
Rabbi, Andy, the first time I saw you, you were a little girl in your backyard with your dog. And I missed a lot of your growing up years, although I did see you when I would come into your house and visit with your mother. But seeing you in action as a rabbi has made me realize that you are a living example of what anyone who wants to be a shining light. I'm trying to think of the words. I admire you. If anybody wants to be fully accomplished as a Jew, they just have to watch you for all you do. It's amazing to me, not only what you do in the shul, but all your activities outside of the shul and all your giving. I cannot tell you how much I admire you. I don't think there's another human being I admire as much as you.
Thank you so much, Karen. Karen Dolnick. I grew up in the house that was right in front of the access road to her house. And also, before Ann Rubin moved to Elkins Park, she was down the block from where I grew up. So I think I've, besides family, known Ann Rubin the longest.
I just want to finish with saying, Andy, I truly love you.
Thank you, Karen. I love you. Thank you.
Rabbi? Rabbi?
Patty, hi.
Hi. There's nothing more I can say because everybody has said it.
Right.
But you were a mentor, a teacher. But I was thinking back about the committees, like the Shabbat Experience Committee, on how you would pull things out of the sky, out of the blue, like the camel. And some of just being on the committees with you were so much fun. And we would just sit around the table and you would come up with some of these bizarre ideas and they worked. That was the funny part. And I'll miss that. I'll miss being on the committees where you would come up with something that we would say like, can we do that? And you'd say, yeah, we could do that. Let's figure this out. And then it worked. And that's what I'll miss. I miss all the other things that everybody else has said, but that was like fun. That was so much, and the other thing is, which you'll see in my letters, but thank you for what you did when my mother passed away. That's my personal connection, which you and I know. And I won't go into that, but you and I know that. And I thank you for that. And what everybody else has said, but thank you so much. And you know what you mean to me and to us. Thank you.
Patty and Al.
So we've only been there 8 years with having you as our rabbi, but you've been our forever friend, and of course will continue to be. And the Princeton community is so fortunate to inherit you as a rabbi, but for the community to know that the huge social action part of you that is really makes up your being, the Princeton community will benefit from it. And of course, Elkins Park will continue your legacy that you've really left here.
And I'll miss playing music with you from when it started at your bat mitzvah till today. I always enjoy making music with you.
Oh my God.
Shir Chadash. Sing a new song, Shir Chadash, the band that played at my bat mitzvah party down the street with drummer extraordinaire. Right?
Rabbi Merow, can you hear me?
I can, Beverly, and then you'll go, and then Panina.
Yeah, I only want to take a minute because everyone else is long-term and I am very, very short-term. But I just wanted to thank you for jumping in and trying to ease a problem that I had without hesitation and in a very good way. As far as the congregation is concerned, I said a number of months ago that you were a gift to this congregation. Now you'll be a gift to Princeton. Your ability, your knowledge, your attempt at helping is unprecedented as far as I'm concerned, and I'm no young person. I'm no spring chicken, but I've never met someone as giving and as successful as you. So thank you very much again. I wish you all the best. Hello, I remember, what, is this your mother, sister? What is this? Your sister, your mother?
She's my sister, although my mom is on.
You're very lucky, very, very lucky.
My twin.
God bless, be well, and
My
God.
older sister who drove in during a blizzard from Boston yesterday. In an actual blizzard.
A real blizzard.
Real
Oh
blizzard.
my goodness. Well, be well, and Yasha Koach, and all good things.
We'll keep working on that issue. Nina Feiner, do you want to unmute?
God bless you.
Nina, do you
Hello?
want... Oh, shalom, shalom, Nina.
Okay, shalom, Shabbat shalom, and there isn't much more that one can add, but
No.
I'd like to say, I'd like to wish you, we all want to wish you, bריאות, עושר, אריכות חיים, והצלחה, הלאה והלאה. The very best.
את כן אמרת משהו חדש, כי את אמרת את זה בעברית.
That's why.
אני מאוד שמחה לשמוע את המבטא וגם את המילים.
בדיוק, and that's actually why I also did say it in Hebrew, because I'd like you to know that it was a pleasure for me to see how well you speak Hebrew. I was always very, very impressed with your knowledge. Absolutely. יוצא מן הכלל.
תודה רבה. הבעיה שלי היא שאני שומעת לרדיו ישראלי ולא רדיו אמריקאי.
נכון.
My problem is that I listen to Israeli radio, so I can tell you if Kfish Sheish is backed up, but not if the scoop is.
That's funny, but it's good to hear it.
Okay.
כל טוב. כל טוב להלאה והלאה.
Steve Katz, I think Princeton needs a kosher restaurant. So if you have any idea to open one, I'd be happy to, do a stuff there.
Not happening, but thanks for asking. Been there, done that.
It was a one and done.
It was fun.
Can I get the recipe for the meatballs?
Absolutely. I have all the recipes.
Yeah.
Be my pleasure.
Buffalo chicken wrap.
Did you see what Ami said? Call it the kosher tiger.
Hello, Rena Rank. You're muted, Rena. We can't hear you, Rena.
Yes. Hi, it's so nice to see everyone.
This is
It
Rena
is so
Landon.
nice. Yeah, well, it is wonderful to be here. I had to share you all with my nieces Ofruf today in Syosset, Long Island.
Mazel
So
tov.
sorry I was on 2 Zooms and running back and forth, but I came in time for your that moving, plaque that your name is going to be on the food pantry. Such a fitting tribute. And it's just so wonderful to see so many of my Beth Shalom friends and, too many conflicting emotions today, but a lot of milestones. Our loss is going to be Princeton's gain, and you are going to be an outstanding addition, to their community. And we can hardly wait to see all the impact that you're going to have there. It's going to be a wonderful new challenge for you.
Inshallah, God willing, inshallah.
Yeah. And I loved hearing all the tributes that I did hear. I'm sorry I missed many of them, but had to be 2 places at once, which always seems to be my problem. So, but I try to make it happen.
It's great. You can dance at 2 weddings with 1 tuchus. It's great.
Yeah. Well, so good to see all of you.
So I had said this to a couple of people on the board. I don't know how Rabbi GK is going to feel about me saying this, but I didn't ask. So here's what I'd like to invite you to all understand and know. I am going on to a new challenge. and I love my colleagues here. But it means there's one less clergy person here. So please be kind to the staff of Beth Shalom. Please be kind to the rabbi of Beth Shalom and the cantor of Beth Shalom and the educator of Beth Shalom. And remember, they are working in a pandemic and they are working with one less staff member. So give them the kind of dam lechaf zchut, you know, anyone, like we are all doing the best we can during this pandemic. We're all making changes and we're all human beings, and be kind to the people I love and work with. Be kind to them moving forward.
Hi, Andy. It's Jan.
It's Rabbi Jan Kaufman, from formerly of the Rabbinical Assembly from Washington, D.C.
So, Andy, I got on at like 9:38 in the middle of GK's meditation. And I said, oh my God, I think I'm in the wrong place. But then Shacharit started, so I was okay. And, you know, I didn't stop crying the whole morning, Andy. I'm very moved. As you know, I think you're the best rabbi in the world. You know a lot of Torah. And I tell everybody that.
Rabbi Jan, I'm so happy that you were on for the meditation, because I specifically asked Rabbi GK to do a longer, more meditative, contemplative Sukkah de Zimra. And I did let you know that you should get on early to see how meditation can be so heart-opening. And here's what our friend, the Rabbi Vikar, teaches us a great lesson, which is when you try something new, you got to try it at least 3 times. So we expect you back here. I believe that Cantor Agar is doing a meditation service next Friday night. Is that true? Rabbi GK or Cantor Agar? Meditation service next Friday night. So Rabbi Jan, your Yekish self is invited to come back for meditation.
I'm not a Yeki, I'm a Litvak, but
okay.
We don't know. So yeah, somebody once asked me about Merow. I said, yeah, when I was a kid, we like did Birkat Hamazon, and that was it. But I do like to hear people. I do like to hear people's stories. And as you know, I am a big Yenta. And when Rabbi Warnick spoke and Rabbi Coburn spoke, and when Swara got on and Rebecca got on, I was so happy to hear Rena. It was just amazing this morning. And I'm so glad that the pantry is being named for your family, because you could do it all, Rabbi Merow. You know a lot of Torah, and you do mitzvot ben adam l'makom, you do mitzvot ben adam l'chaveiro. I'm so glad that Mindy is there, and the care that you gave Joel and your parents, your father of blessed memory, and your mother. And as you once said, we're the only people that call our parents mommy and daddy. And I remember when you came to sit with me when my mother had her second amputation, and we slept in the bedroom upstairs at my stepfather's house all those many years ago, and I never forgot that. And the way that you just teach everybody Torah, and you make Jews all over the world. And I worked with you for so many years at the Rabbinical Assembly. So, teach Scotland mitzvot, Andy.
So
that's
I
what
want
you're
to
going to do.
About the person who's speaking. This is Rabbi Jan Carol Kaufman. She worked in the day school world, and she was director of special projects at the Rabbinical Assembly. But what she really was the doer of mitzvot for other rabbis and chesed. And in her spare time, she's a lawyer. So all of those great conventions that we went to, and Rabbi Landis was honored for 50 years in the rabbinate. Jan planned all those conventions. Every time we went and did social justice work for the Rabbinical Assembly in DC and got to meet the Secretary of Education or Health and Human Services, it was always Jan. Jan lives in DC and is happy to host, after COVID, any of your kids who are in DC at her Shabbos table. Thanks, Jan.
Yeah, I loved
Also,
host people at my show.
also one of the first conservative female rabbis.
Thank
So
you.
good to see Sherry Leibowitz here. And I know Jeanette's around. I can't see her on screen. And Marcel and Rabbi GK and Julie, who had lots and lots and lots of planning meetings for this program, tonight's program, the one with my pals, Sister Mary and Reverend Heineke, and the incredible opportunity we had to listen to Corey Bass, Jenna Furman, and who's the third?
Rabbi Andy Markowitz.
Good joke. Right. Rabbi Andy Markowitz, who I met when he was in the 3rd grade. I also want to point out that one of the people I work most closely with at Beth Shalom is Stacy Salzman, who's become a real true friend. Center for Spiritual Well-Being. If you have ideas or interests, email Rabbi GK or email Stacy. Jonathan Tabis, thanks for your call yesterday. I was a little crazed.
I just wanted you to put that like on a post-it, put it on a post-it somewhere. On my phone. Sorry.
That's Hashem calling.
Thank you. I will make sure that sukkah gets. I see Helene and Aaron Mansheim, who I met at Temple Shalom, and when I didn't yet have an apartment to move into in Elkins Park, I had the code to their house and just stayed there. So thank you. Also, Helene and Aaron joined me with a few other people on a mission to Israel 18 years ago, right before we came to.
Yeah. February of 2004.
February of 2004, there was a war going on.
Grim.
So we went as a Masorti mission to Israel for some ridiculously short amount of time. I will never do that again. And I remember them we were on a bus or something, and that's when they found out they had gotten the house that is in Beth Shalom's backyard.
Yeah. Yep. So we went to the Museum of the Diaspora, Beit HaTfutzot, and we looked up at the model to see what the view would look like from our kitchen window. I wanted to thank you for many opportunities to learn by doing, by going on that mission, by hearing Phyllis at Kabbalat Shabbat saying when the doses of vaccine were available, Helene, go. And so many other times. We know what that means to learn some things by doing, partly through you, and we will look forward to doing more in the future. And for being a real dugma for just learning in the community. And there are so many little things and so many big things, but you've always made people who were new to the community or first time in services just welcome. I remember being asked to read the prayer for Israel, and you didn't know me. I think it was my second time at Temple Shalom. And you, right before I went up, you're like, Avinu Shabbat Shemayim, just in case I wasn't totally clear or wasn't sure what to do, or if I was a little nervous, you kind of gave me that little, here, I can do it. On an occasion about that time, I had been reading the Torah sometimes, and you asked me to read the part about the tzitzit, because people know this. I didn't know it. So you helped me through that. Thank you for that. I know it better now.
Yeah, I also want to, I don't know if Anna Green is on. I saw she was on earlier. I want to thank Anna and Eric Victor and Kim Decker for helping to put together what was really a fun event each year at Beth Shalom, and also Rabbi GK. That is our, hey, I like Judaism, I like the beach, I like Beth Shalom, let's put them all together and do Shabbat at the shore. So thank you to Anna for having that great idea, and to Eric Victor, who really each year, even the year he had a brain tumor, set it all up.
Andy, I'll be scanning the Princeton Jewish Center web pages for the Shabbat at the Shore announcement so I can crash.
I'll see you at the dairy bar, Lauren.
Andy, Mazel Tov. Was such a moving, beautiful tribute this morning. I can't add anything that hasn't been said, but I'm going to report all this to Ron, who will be happy to hear that a colleague of his was honored in such a beautiful way.
Thank you, Joy. Joy is part of a rabbinic family. Her husband of blessed memory, of course, is a colleague, a rabbi. But more important to me, I went to rabbinical school with Ron, her son, whose real name is Myron, but we all call him Ron. And
He got rid of that Myron. He hated that.
but more important for me is that Ron and I sang in Pismon together for many years. So
Yeah.
love to Ron and the family.
Yeah, he sends you regards and told me to give you a hug if I see you and wish you all the best.
John Bate and Marcel Shapiro have their hand raised, and then Jerry Salem has his hand raised. Great, thanks.
Andy, one of my wishes for you is that quickly you get a residence in Princeton that has a fireplace, because your fires are as enlightening as your sermons. I'll eternally be indebted to you for your help when Marcel was sick in the ICU for 6 weeks. Before we could even think of a problem that had to be solved and someone to do it, you had a congregant, a friend there at the time. I don't know if God's plan allows Lamed Bubniks to be rabbis, but you're a Lamed Bubnik. And we'll see a lot of you in Princeton because we're so close. It's not a, oh, goodbye, they're lucky. We'll see you in Princeton.
And thank you for not saying break a leg.
Yes.
Yeah, but Andy, heaven forbid, we know someone who can fix it, but and never should you break a leg.
Yes.
But all we can say is that we love you. It's been an honor to be able to honor you. And you've given us so many gifts. One of the gifts that I can say is helping John on his Jewish journey. And so that we became a fully Jewish family. And for that, for you and Rabbi GK, we are indebted. Let's look forward to more good times to share, walking Tani in the beautiful parks around Princeton. And
do I spy the next up and coming Dr. Bate?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Rabbi Merow. You've been so instrumental in especially pushing me to go to Israel before college, and that definitely helped me identify my Judaism and be more involved in my Judaism at Northeastern and starting the Jewish Student Union. And I'm excited to find the next Jewish community as I make my way to DC for medical school.
We can't wait to call you doctor.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you, and we're so proud of Melissa. Really, such a joy to watch these adults. I spy Cheryl Love, who came. My Mindy says hello, Cheryl. And I was just cleaning out my paper file cabinets at Beth Shalom because we no longer keep papers, but I had all these papers, and I found a yearbook that Cheryl had made for her Hebrew school class. Cheryl was a teacher at OCJCC for a very long time, and then Temple Shalom and OCJCC merged their Hebrew schools, and we got to inherit Cheryl, and I got to make new friends with Cheryl and Mark and these really tiny little children who it was so exciting to like see that little Steph and hold her and hear her say the Shema for the first time, and now she runs the world.
Thank you, Rabbi. Yes, Steph has certainly benefited from your grace and guidance and inspiration as she single-handedly sometimes cooked Shabbat dinner for Hillel at Temple. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if the Kelsons know that, but Rena, Cheryl Mark's daughter, does a lot of the cooking now for the Shabbat Friday night program.
Yeah, they haven't, they were able to do it last semester, but this semester I'm not sure that they were still able to because the building's closed, but it was a fantastic experience. And I mean, I know both kids have really benefited from your support.
Thank you. If you are
The
looking,
fact that you support them where they are and whatever they need is what you give them.
if you're looking for a tzedakah to give to, because there's lots of them in the world, the Rabbi Pinchas and Beatrice Chazin Friday night dinner fund at Temple University Hillel is a great thing to support. Making sure that when the kids are back in school in Rabbi Chazin and Mrs. Chazin's name, that their children set up this fund so that every kid can have Shabbos dinner at Temple Hillel.
Andy, do the Kelsons know that one of the last things we did before COVID was to meet their cousin at the Corn Skulls Simcha?
I don't think so.
Well, Rabbi Merow,
Yes.
this is perfect. This is a nice segue. No one has mentioned adult ed. I got to thank you for some of the most enlightening education experiences that I've had. And I'd also like to point out how in front of the curve you were, because we started doing Zoom adult ed way before COVID. And it was a wonderful idea. And it was just so inspirational for me. I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you. And I want to say that Rabbi Glansberg-Cranen, Stacy, and I were grateful about 2 years before COVID struck to get on the Zoom. And so when the rest of the world was sort of floundering and figuring out how to use Zoom, we had Stacy to rely on, who already set up our accounts for us. And we had been doing those Zoom classes. And I think that Rabbi GK, you're welcome to jump in, of course, but we were lucky to have been able to been on Zoom earlier.
Yeah, we were not Zoom amateurs when the pandemic hit, so that was a blessing.
And I want to credit, so back to Rabbi Jan, I want to credit, I'm not throwing back to her, I'm saying that I want to credit the Rabbinical Assembly, because for about 5 years, we were doing Zoom meetings for the Rabbinical Assembly. We were doing meetings for the Rabbinical Assembly internationally on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, wait, if they can do it, can't we?
Yeah, it's a way to do it. Well, thanks a lot. You'll be great in Princeton.
Thank you. And thank you to the Men's Club. As I was going through paper files, I found Introduction to Mishnah class that I taught and wrote in like 2008.
Yep.
And
a Seder, you did how to run a Seder for us at one of our board meetings. Remember that a couple of years ago? That was really good.
All right. I look forward to not rewriting some programs for a while and reusing that stuff.
You've got a whole new audience. It's great. Oops, sorry.
Fresh material now.
Yeah.
So I did
Rabbi
have
Merow
a
is not
question
going to be
for Kala
recycling
I
through her
could ask
folder. She's going to be doing new stuff.
Can I something happened interesting at our Seder and we didn't know quite how to handle it. At the end of the meal, it turned out the person that had the Afikomen had signed off the Zoom session. So we technically didn't have our Afikomen to close out the meal. Not that we would have been sharing, we were sharing it spiritually.
Is it all quiet? Has the Zoom gone quiet?
Yeah, it seems like we're having a little quiet time. That's all good. Back to Rabbi GK.
Rabbi Merow, why don't you tell the story, and I even forget, of the young man who you helped get the trip to Israel that might have been.
That's all right. Another time.
Who was that again? And just when was that?
We have lots of kids in the community that we all send to Israel.
Okay.
Lots of kids. Lots of dogs.
Sometimes permanently.
Yeah, sorry about those of you who have kids and grandchildren in Israel that you haven't seen. Wait, Steve, you can't go now?
We're working on it. We're getting close. We're getting close. We have a 1-year-old grandson we haven't met yet. Yeah, it's brutal.
So we have
Speaking of grandchildren, Rob and I are leaving. We're going to visit grandkids. Love you, and we will talk to you soon.
L'chaim.
Mazel tov.
And I
Thank
know
you.
that lots of us are going to be on the tonight at 8 o'clock. So those of us, and Rabbi Merow, I know there've been a lot of emotions. So if you want a little bit of some downtime, you should feel free to let us know, and we'll be starting to move to let you recuperate a little bit and look forward to this evening. But again, it's just been so beautiful to listen to all of these wonderful words through the lunch. And for those who are signing off, thank you all for being here and for your love and support to Rabbi Merow and our community.
And Rabbi, can I just remind everybody that tonight is not like Shabbat was, where you just click and join. You do have to register and get a link. So if you haven't done so yet, please do. And Stacy will make sure that you get a link in time. But you also, if you forget, go through the registration and she'll be able to process you right away. But it's not just a click to sign on. You do have to register.
Agreed. All right, I'm going for my nap.
Thank you, Rabbi GK, for being my friend and colleague, and to all those who thought about that food pantry idea and for keeping it quiet. And oh, the dog's eating tuna fish. Nope. Thank you.
It's our blessing. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you tonight.
Shalom. I'm still staying on. Mrs. Landis looks like she's up and looking good.
Mother, you're on mute.
I see Muriel Tabus here. And Ami Profeta is here in the house.
I know, I didn't say anything.
Mother, now you're on. Do you want to say something? You're not on mute anymore.
I just wanted to say goodbye.
Oh, you look good, Mom.
Sarah.
Yes, Bentley. What'd you say?
Enjoy a Shabbos nap.
Thank you. I plan to.
It's almost gin and tonic season.
Yes,
it
is.
And I want to say Mazel Tov. I was leading services this morning, Rabbi Merow, but so I hope I'll get to see a recording of the whole service. But
oh, is this Rabbi Erica?
This is.
Oh my goodness! One of the superheroes of the Philadelphia Jewish community.
Well, but it's really I'm so grateful that the Rebbitzin Landis let me. I came to visit with her, and she was watching this, so I got to hear a bunch of it.
It used to be called Abrams Center. What's it called now?
Horsham Center for Jewish Life.
Oh, they did change the name.
Horsham Center for Jewish Life. This is Rabbi Erica Steelman, who is just an incredible soul serving the Jewish people, along with Rabbi Josh Lachauer, who's a congregant at Beth Shalom.
And we're both huge fans of yours, and just so grateful that you're part of our lives, and we'll just be cheering you on. And
right back at you, and you, me, and Pam are left together.
Yeah, you have a big fan club here.
Rebecca, dear, did you register me?
I think so, but I'll check, Mother, and I'll register you if I do it again. And I'm trying. I cannot reply to people in chat. I don't know how to do it. I am so sorry. So I'm trying to. I'm now writing to Randy Sable, who asked, Mother, you'll get calls from everyone who loves you and wants to know that you're okay.
She's okay. Look at her. She's great.
I'm okay.
Great. Yes,
I want you guys to also recognize, look at the box that says Robin Minkoff, because she makes sure the staff actually gets things done in such a complicated world. And she makes sure that things happen in a loving way.
Thank you very much, Andy. I'll see you tonight.
Lihi Tra'od, I'll see you tonight. I'm gonna hop over to see my mother.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Mwah.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, Eli Chavivi. Eli Chavivi. And Shabbat shalom, Judy. Shabbat shalom, Ami.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom, Judy. I see that my mom.
Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom, Lewis.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to
Rabbi.
everyone.
I look forward to seeing everyone tonight.
Yep.
Of course.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Pam.
Bye, Tara.
Bye, Rabbi.
Hi, Judy.
Log out.
How do I say goodbye?
Oh, she's on mute.
So,